Hello, 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 hello. Good afternoon, one and all. Welcome to I Am Sure Sports. I am Omar Stene. It is Friday, and on Fridays we have our live JPL review and preview show. But I decided that I would come on a little early today just to kind of quickly before we get into the JPL um, review preview to kind of speak to you a little bit about the Jamaica versus USA quarterfinal games in the Gold Cup, which is this Sunday, 8:30, 7:30 our time here in Jamaica. It will be played at the AT&T Stadium in Arlington, a stadium that I know very well. So looking forward to that. We're going to talk about that for a few minutes, and then at 2 o'clock we'll have our guests come in and we get ready for our show. But before that, we want to let's introduce you to our channel. So just stay tuned and enjoy.
I am sure sports. You know me there. I'm coast to coast representing. I mean, say this is righteous representing for Omar. You don't know, come get the sports over here from near and far. Boy. Me say I am sure sports, one thing me sure about. When me say sure, that me not doubt. Come get your sports, get it over here. Come subscribe, repost and share. I am sure sports, one thing me sure about. When me say sure, that me not doubt. Come get your sports, get it over here. Come subscribe, repost and share. If me not sure, that me not say it. Know who score, that me not say it. Never know no game play, that me not say it. If me never see no game, me no know who play. For your sports news, better come over here so. For your soccer news, then come over here so. If you don't love sports, still come over here so. For the day done, you a go love over here so.
So when it comes on to behavior concerning football, Jamaica is decent. I am sure that if we can get all of these things done, set in place by the end of April, it gives us enough time before the World Cup campaign. Not afraid of no Brazil, no Argentina with these crap of players. We are good enough. Remember to like, subscribe, share. Listen, comment. Let me know what your thoughts are.
Yes, indeed. Yeah, man. So do that. Like, post, share, and subscribe. Well, before we get into that, listen, there are a couple of things I want to share with you, especially for all my subscribers out in St. Anne. You'd have heard of the passing of Ansel Shelley. They call him Juggy Zook. He's the founder of Volvo Football Club. He passed away recently. Yeah, man, passed away recently, and his funeral or memorial service will be next week, Thursday, and it will be up in Civil Heights Center. And so go out and support him. For all of you who didn't know, yeah, man. So yeah, just thought I'd share that with you and let you know. Like I said, for those of you who don't know that transpired recently, that's the passing of Ansel Shelley, the founder of Volvo Football Club. Now, what are your thoughts? I know this is, like I said, the EPL review show, but what are your thoughts on the Reggae Boys versus the USA? Is there any particular thought you have in terms of what the team should do, how we should play? What are your expectations of the Jamaican team heading into this game on Sunday? So I can tell you what my thoughts are. I can tell you what I think is going to happen. I have this quite confidence that Jamaica is going to win this game. I think the team is gelling. This is their third game in the Gold Cup. The coach made some changes, and I think those changes were good for the team. It gave some players the opportunity to recover It gave him an opportunity to see some players who were not playing. And so now I think his pool has widened in terms of persons for selection for this game that is coming up. Now, I am no prophet. I'm not in the coach's mind, but based on what I've seen so far, uh, I would go to what I've seen to be one of the most efficient in terms of results uh, formation that Coach Whitmore has used since he has been leading the team, which is he plays four at the back, two sitting midfielders, one plays on top, or three plays across the top with one point man up front. All right. Now, oftentimes when we get to player selections, people get offended because their thought is, what about this player? What about that player? But truthfully, imagine how difficult it is for a coach if we, the pundits, can't even come to a consensus on some of the players uh, to play in a particular game. And why do I say that? I am very sure if you ask all the persons who speak about games, if you ask every single one, almost every person would come up with one deviation in terms of who should start a particular game. All right, so here is what I would do. Of course, Andre Blake would be in goal. I would go to Liam Moore and Damian Lowe. I think those guys are sure pick. I think it is the best center back pairing so far from what I have seen in the Gold Cup. So I would go with those guys at the back. At left back is a very, I think, a harder option because one, I think Kemar Taxi Lawrence provides a whole lot more going forward. But I think that Amari Bell plays better on the defensive side. So I would, and this is just me, I would start with Amari Bell. Remember, we can make 5 changes. So I would go with Amari Bell starting on the left side of the defense. And then on the right side, I would go with Adrian Mariappa. That would be my back four and goalkeeper. Remember, we can make 5 changes, and there's a reasoning behind this. Because I think we need to have a steady first half, and then in the second half, we can be more expansive in terms of our play. All right. So, what do I mean? Yeah. So that's the back four. In central midfield, for this game, I would start with Speedy and Michael Hector at the base of the midfield. And then up front, the three ahead of them, I'd go Leon Bailey on one side, Bobby Reed on one side, and Daniel Johnson right in that, what you call the number 10. I know he doesn't play that, but I'm looking for a solid midfield, which is the area that we have struggled the most. And then I'd start Corey Burke up front. Now, I would make changes in the second half to add a little more attack to my team. I could remove Michael Hector, for example, bring Daniel Johnson back, and then you can bring on a Blair Turgott or a Shamar Nicholson, and you can just make adjustment and put someone else in that number 10 position. I would also consider in the second half bringing on Alva Speid. I think we'll get more out of Alva Speid and Kemar Lawrence going forward if they come on when the United States players are tired or have run for 45 minutes. But what I don't want to do is for us to be very expansive in the first half of the game and then concede an early goal, and then we have to be chasing the game. I want to hold my defensive shape for the first half and allow myself the opportunity to be more, like I said, expansive and attacking in the second half, because this United States team, they are not fast attacking wise, but they are very big and skillful. And so we're going to need a lot of tacklers. And you may be asking, so what happened to Tyreek McGee? Why didn't I include a Tyreek McGee in the starting 11? Because he looked, I think a lot of those guys, after 45 minutes, they were out of the game. Junior Fleming looked well, I think, for 45 minutes. Tyreek McGee looked well. But once that energy died down, they weren't as impactful. And I think it serves them better to come in to the game. And it's not because they are bad players. I just think it provides us with the best opportunity to win. But I'm not the coach, but that's what I would do. You know, I think the players are giving their all. If we had the other options, that would help. But I think going ahead, I will say this. I can't wait to see certain players in the team. Players who have at least one who has played. Greg Lee, I think his name is. He has made his debut already. Heard that he had a niggle, but he's now in preseason. His league starts before the World Cup qualifiers. So I'd love to see him occupying that left side of that left back position. I think we have three good options: Greg Lee, Kemar Lawrence, and Amari Bell. I would say if I were to rank them personally, I would say based on what I've seen in their last games for Jamaica, I'd say Greg Lee is number one, and there's a close, depending on what you want to do, second place between Kemar Taxi Lawrence and Amari Bell. On the right side, I think we need, I know we have Wes Harding, very good player. We have Alvis Powell, O'Neal Fisher. I think we need a more balanced option. I think all of these guys that we have, they're either good going forward or good defensively. I want someone who is more dynamic on both ends of the court. I don't think we have filled that. So that's one position we need to probably find someone new. In the defensive midfield area, I think we need to look at a Kevin Stewart. All right, because I am not sure that in all the games we're going to play, Michael Hector or Devon Speedy Williams will be able to provide what we need in that area. All right. I think Casey Palmer should come back into the team as an alternative for Daniel Johnson in case he gets injured. All right. Then you have a Ravel Morris. I think he's a very important part of the team and should be included. Blessings special. Yeah, man. Where are you? Thanks for joining, man. Yeah. So Ravel Morris, we have him in that position. Casey Palmer must be a part of the squad as a replacement for Daniel Johnson if he gets injured or gets suspended. Casey Palmer can play that same role. Now, up front, I think we have several options, and we have to be very wise because somebody is going to be thrown. Well, let me not say thrown. Somebody out of all the options we have presently, with those available, will lose their spot. What do I mean by that? We have a Mikel Antonio that I think needs to be added. Jamal Lowe missed this trip because, of personal reasons, valid personal reasons. Trust me, I will not get into it, but if you understand culture, the reason why he was not there is a valid reason. So I think he comes in because I think Jamal Lowe is one of our best goal scoring option. I'm telling you, Jamal Lowe. So Mikel Antonio, Jamal Lowe. If Kemar Roof is available, I would also include him. And then Ethan Pinnock, who his club did not release him. So it is not that Ethan Pinnock chose not to represent Jamaica. Ethan Pinnock, the reports are that his club did not want him to come and play because this is your first preseason entering the Premier League. And you have to understand that. So he is a centre-back option. we have Mariappa, we have Michael Hector. But those are the additions I would make. I see Pesa here saying that Isaac Hayden soon change his mind. Listen, these are the players that I think we have to be careful of, because he has been approached and he has let me say it. It has been reported that he has said he's waiting on England. Now, if we have other players who are filling in that gap, I don't think. How long are we going to wait on him? I don't know. I think we need to move on. Once a player says, listen, and he's 27 years old, all right? And from what I see, he's not going to replace Declan Rice or Calvin Phillips, Jude Bellingham, Jordan Henderson, and there's so many other players who are coming through, who are playing at a higher level than he is. So the fact that he's delaying representing Jamaica, Peso, is something that I have a particular challenge with this one. So so we should have our first game, I believe, in the World Cup is against Mexico, in Mexico without spectators. And so we need to get our act together, because what we see of Mexico in the Gold Cup will not be what we see of Mexico when it comes to the World Cup qualifiers. It will be, there will be at least 6 additions coming right into the starting. I'm not talking about people coming off the bench. So what you see now, you pick the best 5 players you see, and 6 other players are going to join them. Better players playing at a higher level for this Mexican team. They are no joke. Do I believe Jamaica can beat them? Of course, because I still believe that this Gold Cup is good preparation. I still believe in Leon Bailey. I still believe he's going to come good. And I think that starts tonight. Sunday night, sorry. I think Sunday night he's going to come good. He's going to prove the critics wrong. The good thing, I believe, is that majority of Jamaicans still believe that he has the goods and he's going to deliver. So look out for that, right? Our second game, I think, will be at the office. Hopefully by then, people, let me just say this. Listen, let us just be wise, all right? Because we don't want World Cup campaign to come around. The boys need our support in the stadium. And then no spectators, or limited amount of spectators because of the impact of the virus. Let's think about that, right? Because after we play Mexico, we travel back to the national stadium to play Panama. No, I'd love to have 2 wins in our first 2 games. And I think it is possible. I think we can nick a win from Mexico or tie with Mexico, and we come home and we beat Panama out here. That will be a great result. I'm glad that our second game is against a team that I believe we should be beating, which is Panama. So worst case scenario, we lose in Mexico. The good news is that we have a rebound game, and that game is against Panama, and we should be able to win it, right? So let's see. But like again, let's come back to Sunday night. I believe we can beat the coach. Big up Coach Minty from the coach's desk. Good to have you, man. I believe that we can beat the US. And I believe that the players believe that. I believe that the coaching staff believe that. And I'm expecting it to happen. For some reason, I think this US team has more fear for us than we have for them. And so my thing is we should be going to the semifinals. And if we go in the semifinals, we either play Qatar or El Salvador. And you know what? I don't think either of those teams can beat Jamaica. I think Qatar is too open and El Salvador is not strong enough. Um, I don't. Let me see this comment. LB7 need to stop shift in our half, start shift business in the attacking third, create free kicks and penalties. Well, um, you can't shift in the opponent half if you don't get the ball up there, Peso. Listen, listen. If you play football, you have to understand that there are different components. The man can only do what he does when he get the ball there. How many times has he been given the ball in the penalty box? You have to count that, and then when you count that, you can then say he has not received the, he has received the ball in the box. Because when he get the ball in the box, what he does, he has one free kick in the attacking third, right? So whenever you come to say something, you have to be sure that what you see and what you say are connected, because sometimes we can see one thing and say something completely different. We must be very careful. But we have our first guest. He's the early bird. You understand me? I know he has a big game coming up this weekend in the JPL. So let me welcome to the stream Mr. Rudolph Speid. He's here with us again. We're waiting on Mr. Ludlow Bernard, who will be here with us, and David Price. But I know Mr. Speid has a big game, and so he probably has training later today and won't be able to stay for the entire stream. Mr. Speid, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
You know what? Doing well. Giving thanks. I was here just talking about the game, the Reggae Boys game. Kind of pick my 11. You know what I mean? And have my own way of how we should approach the game. But I'm anticipating a victory. I think this USA team fears us. They know they are not the best right now, and they fear the talent that we have. And they know that if we get it together, they will be knocked out of this. And so what are your thoughts before we get into the Premier League discussion? What are your expectations? I mean, I'm not going to ask you about any players, but what are your expectations in terms of the quarterfinals?
Well, my team is Jamaica. So no matter who we're playing, I want Jamaica to win. So I expect the US to come with them usual style, play through the middle. They don't believe in flank play, so they'll be very direct. So what that does is give problems to us because, it's the open secret that probably one of our soft spot is the spine, the set of players that we have guarding the defense line. So from that point of view, I just hope we did some work there and try to make sure we're strong and we have a plan when they try to come down the middle. Even if they go on the flank, it's just a sham. They're going to revert back to their usual self. So I believe, though, that we have some of the most unpredictable players who can turn up with outstanding offensive plays, which is something that we have an abundance over in this particular squad. A lot of attacking players who can actually score goals. We have been missing a lot, but I like to see players get into goal scoring position. Listen, if you don't get a chance, as far as I'm concerned, you can't score. So I like to see the players then, even if them get it, in those positions and miss, I prefer that more than somebody who not getting in those positions. Okay. So as you can say, against Costa Rica, it could have been a rout, although we lost the game. So we're a little bit chancy, but I keep my fingers crossed. One of the reasons for this game is not even so much the result here, because a lot of people put a lot of emphasis on winning the World Cup, but I am putting emphasis more on how we match up with the people who's going to qualify for the World Cup. That is what I am looking out for more than anything else.
Yeah, but with the exception of Qatar, who knocked out Panama, all the teams the 8 teams in the World Cup qualifiers, if Qatar were not involved, would have been in the quarterfinals at the Gold Cup. You realize?
Oh yes, and that's good. That's good for us, and that is why I want us to have a long run here, get past US, get past semi-final, and go into the final, because we need that type of practice to see how we match up. I mean, and we need to look at the gap, if there's any, between us and the top 2 giants, and we still have a couple of months to close it. So I'm one of those optimistic person that we can achieve those things.
Yeah, because my thought, I don't know what you think. My thought is, and I kind of share, because I realize that the USA, like I said, they're strong right down the spine. And so my thought was, listen, let's for the first 45 minutes, just try to catch them on the counter, but be solid in the middle and probably play, I don't know, this is my thought, play a speedy Hector and say a Daniel Johnson as your three in the middle. Your three in that middle, to kind of hold the spine of your team. And then in the second half, depending on how the game progresses, then you can introduce more attacking option when legs are tired in terms of the US and kind of be able to be more expansive in terms of the attacking play. So my selection would be Speedy and Hector, and then I'd have Bobby Reed, Daniel Johnson, and Leon Bailey, and then I would go with Corey Burke up front. That would be how I do it, and then you have like I say, you have more attacking options on the bench that you could bring on. But I think we need to play this game wisely. What I noticed with the USA team is that how they play in their phases is that the first 20 minutes, like they do this high press attack in the games that I've watched, and then they sit like for 20 minutes and then wait until the second half restart to start this whole high press attacking. So maybe that's something we can look at to see how we can contain them and then try to catch them on the counter.
Right. Well, you can't press for the whole of 90 minutes. So what they are doing is picking out moments that they are going to be pressing. It's just like we used to talk about the Italians and their Rosy zone, which Sir Alex Ferguson copied successfully afterwards. A lot of people don't know. So you see, when him start to look at him, watch him, know it's 15 minutes left to go. So the Italians used to have this style where with 15 minutes to go in each half, they said they bring it into the Rosy zone. They run at top speed. Everything's at top speed at that time. So the US kind of just trying to get a style. I mean, the Mexico play like that too and flip it. So they go hard first, see what they can get while they're still not into the game. And then they try to manage the game from there until they get winded, and then they come back again in the second half and do the same thing all over. So it's not nothing special. It's just a matter of choice. You can't press for 90 minutes, so they choose them.
Okay. But really looking forward to the game. I know that we're going to get a lot of Jamaican support out in the Arlington area. So looking forward. I know that, man. I talked to some people and thing, and the academy out there, they have this thing where they normally give tickets because they want to be one of the host stadiums for the World Cup in 2026. So they're trying to build they're almost trying to give tickets so that so a lot of tickets they're trying to give away to people who are involved in the soccer academies there, because they want to sell it as a place like, look how many people coming to our stadium for the Gold Cup. We can host a World Cup game because we can promise you it will be a full stadium. So I think because Mexico played in that stadium recently, I think against Iceland or Finland, one of those teams recently, they played a friendly there and it was sold out. Though there are a lot of Mexicans here because that.
I like them. So let's hope they give some Jamaicans some tickets too.
Yeah. So I tried to see if I can, get some of them. But again, welcome to the show. Good to have you. I know you have training today. But I mean, what a week it was. What a weekend it was in the JPL. Listen, if you are watching this and you did not watch the games this weekend, you need to watch them. All right, and I'm going to tell you why. The first 3 rounds, 17 goals were scored. All right, 17 goals. This round alone, 17 goals were scored in this round alone. There was no goalless game from my check. Every game had at least 1 goal for this round. Some very good goals, good performances, and maybe because we complained about the lack of goals last week, everybody decided let's go on a goal scoring spree. Mr. Speid, because you're one of the teams that scored, but what do you thought about the round in general?
Yes, it looked like they took the trend off us. You're right. There was a lot of goals. This week was the most exciting week. A lot of people don't realize that what makes football is because of the amount of discussions after. There was 3 red cards during this week too, which is a first.
4.
4, right? 4 red cards. all of those is a part of the excitement. You know, coach has to resort to different tactic because they were down with red cards. I mean, is just to me is the most entertaining round this one. Goals galore. You know, even when teams are going down, they're finding a way to bring back some life in it by scoring a one goal. So no. This week is just opening up everybody appetite for next week. And for this weekend
For
coming.
this weekend, for this weekend.
Really exciting.
Yeah, man. All right, let's see if we can run through a couple of the games. Yeah, Portmore. Let's do it like that. Somebody may say I'm saving the best for last, but we shall see. But so let's start with Portmore. Portmore 3, Tivoli 1, and there was a red card to the Tivoli goalkeeper. Well, he got 2 yellow cards, Watkins, and so they played portions of that game with 10 players. McFarlane scored in the 36th minute, Rose 2 minutes after that in the 38th, and then Ricardo Morris scored in the 68th minute, and Wellington got the lone goal for Tivoli in the 71st minute. What are your thoughts on Portmore's performance?
Oh, that was a dominant performance by Portmore. They usually play the 3 at the back. They change their style to 4. They play something like a 4-3-3. I can't tell you what the coach play fully, what he has in mind fully, but definitely they had 4 at the back. They had, you know, and they had 2 wingers and they had the centre forward. So it looked like it was a 4-3-3 formation. Christopher Morris was outstanding, probably the best captain in the league so far.
Ricardo
Morris. He marshaled the troops. You could hear him telling them, no, don't play that, play this. I mean, he had a wonderful game. I was very proud to know that a Jamaican player could actually captain a team like that. He was vocal. You could hear him from in the stands. Cool it now, speed it up. He was really the man in that team that conducted the pace. The Portmore had the guy from
Shanda James played well as well.
He scored a thumping goal, a lot of confidence.
He scored a very good goal.
And then you had the guy. There's this place to play for Humberland. I can't remember his name. He plays central at number 6 for Portmore. Whenever Tivoli made
Knight, Segil Knight.
Yes, Segil Knight.
Yes.
When the team Tivoli got press them high. Just in a sweeper role and play make from there. A wonderful performance from Portmore. To me, that's the best game I've seen played from the competition start in terms of how a team dominate and control the game. As a matter of fact, the position was 63-37. That's how dominant it was.
Yeah, well, what I'll say is that I think it is the most one-sided game that I have seen in the league. And that is because of how excellent Portmore were. And this is what I fear with Tivoli, like when things are not going their way, they lose their discipline. And how they played, it seemed like everything broke down. And maybe a good team will do that to you, because Portmore, like, you really don't see this in the league where a team just knocking the ball around. I mean, everything was very fluid and a very, very, very good game. And I'm saying that when you look at the kind of football, you know, it make you proud to say that, yeah, man, the JPL is making progress because it was good quality football that they played. And one of the St. Lucians scored as well. That plays for them. I know you, but we'll get to the one that plays for you. But they have 2 St.
Lucians. He scored a very good goal. He scored the first goal. That was his first goal of the season.
First goal of the season.
When he scored it, I like it. A lot of confidence. Got the chance. And just put it away with a plumb over the goalkeeper. Give the goalkeeper no chance. Really good goal.
Yeah, so for those of you who probably saw the goal and said, how this man not in the national team, he's not a Jamaican. All right, he's from St. Lucia.
I think he's in their national team.
Yes, he plays for the St. Lucia national team. Yes, that is true. All right, but the second game we're going to talk about is the Mount Pleasant Mullines game. That I don't know what to say. This Mount Pleasant thing is not. We need to start. I may need to start calling them Mount Unpleasant, because I don't know. They need to get their act together. They looked a whole lot better than they looked the week before, but too many for a team that has such mature, seasoned campaigner, they make too many schoolboy mistakes. That
Well,
is
the truth is the first goal, they should have cleared their lines and they allow young Nelson to just steal, just actually steal a goal out and nothing. The defender should have just cleared away the ball. I think he was trying to be cute. That's the first goal. Then they scored 2 goals and got the lead. And I would have thought that they would just relax now and try, just play on the counter or play out the game. And to my surprise, they conceded a corner. And the Mullines player must have thought it was Christmas. He was just waiting around there by himself, saying Merry Christmas or Happy Birthday. One of those presents him get, and him just take it. And just put it away and get a draw when it looked very unlikely.
I'm telling you, but you know what is so funny? Almost all the goals, like I would say 95% of the goals that Mount Pleasant has conceded, they have conceded from the left side of their defense. Either a man is left unmarked or the play breaks down for them on that side of the field. Almost every goal that they have conceded. So that's something. But credit to Mullines, the new coach, because listen, when they were down 2-1, Patrick was not happy. The man was throwing water bottle. The man was leaning. If it was a plastic chair he was sitting on, it would have been broken. The way how he looked upset at the bench. So it was good that they got a point. And here's one of the things that Mount Pleasant need to understand. Everybody wants to beat you. Why? Because you are seen as a team that have the money and the big this and the big that. And every player look at them and say, how you go and pay so much money for that man? And look for me better than him, and look, they have to begin to see that the moment they step out, and then you have a coach. Every Jamaican coach wants to show that coach from overseas that, listen, are we run Jamaica? A Jamaican coach run Jamaica. You understand? And a third thing somebody shared with me the other day is that when you check our local football, almost all the teams that had this, who tried to go on a recruitment campaign with money around our country, have struggled. If you go from Portmorant United, if you go back to some of those teams that had a lot of money trying to pump into the football, buying the best players, they normally, don't.
Yeah, see, I'm leaving you with Mount Pleasant, you're a team. So when you sign off, I'm come back.
Yeah, but they scored a good goal. That Liston James goal was a very, very good build-up play. He started the play. He made the pass out wide. The guy scored it in. Very good header. Very, very good goal. It is in there in terms of good goals for the round.
If you show the fullness of that goal, that's a rare goal. The centre half come up and score goals like that. Show you how committed he is. As a player and how much he wants to win, because remember at that point in time the game was 1-1. I just wanted to claim Liston now and tell you that he used to play for me.
No, well, if he used to play for you, this must be like 7 years ago. At least. Yeah,
when I was in Premier League the first time he used to play.
Okay.
I took him out of whichever league he was and make him play Premier League first.
Okay. Yeah, but he had a good game. He had a very good game.
Always have a decent game. He is one of those players that you can expect 100% from all the time. If he makes a mistake, it's a mistake. He always have a good game.
Yeah. Then so one of the other red card games, well, there were 2 red cards in this game. This was the Humble Lion, the Clarendon Derby, Humble Lion versus Veer. 2 red cards. Lewis was red carded for Humble Lion, and O'Connor was red carded late in the game. Player name Messam. Is he related to Gregory Messam? I don't know, but opened the scoring in the 27th minute, and then Andrew Vanzi. I don't think this is the other thing.
Messam got both goals.
Yeah, man, he scored in the 27th minute, then Andrew Vanzi equalized, and then Messam scored again in the 57th minute.
Not that he knew anything about the second goal. Somebody can look at him and go in. Don't know anything at all about it.
And then in stoppage time, Gale scored the third goal. But that Andrew Vanzi penalty, because it was a corner that the guy was trying to, I mean, it was a handball in the box, according to the referee. But the player hand wasn't far from his body. Like if we had VAR, I think that would have been called back because of how close it was.
No. You see, one of the problem with this penalty rule is that a lot of people making mistakes. Everybody believe that you must hack down the man or kill the man before it's called a penalty. The rule never say a soft hand or a hard hand or a soft tackle or a hard tackle. Once you stop the direction where the ball is going, other people were around him when it hit up on his hand, and by accident too, I agree. But who said the ball wouldn't drop to somebody else kindly for them to kick it in the goal, and that's why the referee had no option but to call a penalty. So I agree that it's a penalty.
Well, with this, really?
Yeah.
All right. But what you thought about that game? This is the price. The price is not right.
No, I call it right. I told you Duki was going to score at a goal on them. I told that Duki was going to go after them.
Yes.
Because him realized that what him playing, you know. If he thought he didn't have a chance, then he would have played them much different. He wouldn't be so enterprising, but that it was enterprising.
Yeah, and this is the fourth loss for Andrew Price. Is his job under threat?
Well, his boss in a newspaper article said as much, that, you know, coach, players, some of them came back overweight, so he's upset with them all. So let's see, but he's a politician though. But so let's see if he's
the coach came back overweight. Are the players?
Players.
I try to make sure that people don't walk away from here saying that
players.
Yeah, just want to make, because I don't want anybody to walk and say, yeah man, let me hear Mr. Speed said the coach and the players walked away, came back overweight.
And I was really just quoting their boss, you know, the MP. I not me. I can't send the article.
Yeah man, no man, I know. But my thing is, though, like, yeah, a lot of the players are overweight. They seem very unfit. This is the 4th week. So though you started training, you should be looking better.
You have 7 weeks now.
Yes. 7 weeks. You should be looking better. You can't be looking worse. And
it's not gonna get any easier because I think they have Portmore next. So
yeah, they have. Well, that's 5 defeats in a row.
Well, I would say that the game don't play yet.
Well, let me say it this way: if Portmore plays the way they play last week, I am picking them to win.
Yeah, well, we'll come to that later. So
let me say that, yeah, man. Then Harborview.
Yeah.
Right. So Harborview, 4 games. Unbeaten.
Yes, and you know Ludlow Bernard is on top by in game now.
Yeah.
And he's supposed to be a guest soon.
Yep. 2-0 victory over Dunby Holden.
Yeah. So Dunby Holden new coach syndrome. They used it to defeat Cavalier last week. Well, not so new anymore.
Or maybe because he was playing against a team that he had a problem with, and they were determined not to allow him to beat them. Maybe
That's true too.
That maybe motivated Harborview.
That's true too. But again, Harborview is well drilled, and Dunby Holden thought they could play Harborview differently, like from how they played us.
They were trying to bully Harborview.
And more open, and Harborview took advantage of that.
Yeah, and this young guy named Kevin Scott scored a very good goal as well. I think that second goal that he scored.
Let's just say again, he needs to play for Cavalier. No. Basically, the goal that he scored,
yes,
the Dunby Holden people just fall asleep.
Okay.
It was a short set play from the
set play, yeah.
And him alone reacted to it first. I was poking it in front of the goalkeeper at the near post. They just fell asleep.
Yeah, very but good. I mean, the fact that they came up with that, you can see that that's probably something they did on the training field.
Yes, definitely. Ludlow Bernard is good at that. He does a lot of those things on the training field.
Yeah. And that little youngster had a good game. Christo J. Daly, I think his name is.
He's from Trelawney. Very good player. You know, we scouted him. Left-footed, skillful. He was a standout in the Costa Cup
Played
when
for
they
William
played
Navy.
last competition. So he was a standout. I think he was the second leading goal scorer in that competition, second best. So him have quality. I thought Abaku did well to secure signatures.
He was at Cavaliers too.
No,
Because I know.
we scouted him and talked to him boss, but him boss said him got Abaku. So
Okay,
we lost out on that one. But he's a good player. I would just hope he can move from strength to strength. Very good.
Okay. All right.
He's
And
a
then,
teenager. He's probably 18.
whoa. All right. And then Jimenez, he got 2 yellow cards.
Yeah, he's 17. Impressive
Yeah.
youngster, right back.
Yeah.
Got 2 yellow card.
The man was broken. The man was. Well, you can see that he's a youngster. The man was crying. You
Yeah,
really
yes,
don't.
though, because remember, Above used to start a player by the name of Staple at right back.
Right. Yes. So he
Yeah,
probably
man,
loses.
right, so he's not going to be playing the next game. Staple might come back. I mean, I would cry if I was him because although he has played some exceptional games, I don't know if he has stamp he says, well, it's really me at the first choice all the time. So from that point of view, if I was him, I would feel that I would have let down myself to get that second yellow card. After Abbeville was cruising anyway. Maybe he didn't have to take that card.
Yeah. And then the final game, the big game of the round. The young guns going at it. Cavaliers versus Arnett Gardens. The matchup of the B license coaches and more. Cavaliers 3. Arnett Garden 0. Good game by Shaquille Thomas. He scored 2 goals, and a player that I'm very impressed with, Duxley, one of the St. Lucians, was deployed in midfield this time because you played 3 at the back. I think you played 3-4-3, and he scored a goal in the 63rd minute as well. What are your thoughts on that game?
Well, if you talk about goal of the round, his goal should take the cake. That was a bicycle over
Yes.
and beat the goalkeeper, all ends up. I thought it's one of those games that there was like a plethora of players who we could have given man of the match. Duxley, Chanel Thomas, there was Webster.
Yeah.
Webster actually got 2 assists, but the truth be told, the goal that Atkins missed, he would have gotten 3 assists easy. I mean, I would have given him an assist for the goal because really Atkins missed the empty goal when Webster sent him through.
Yeah.
And Webster actually, after the first half, Arnett Garden pressed us a lot in the first half. But one of the good things is that we were always deep and they couldn't penetrate around the sides. So what happened? They were taking shots from in front. They take a lot of shots in the first half. But the left back, him take a little bit too many shots, so we noticed him in the first half. So the second half, we decided to attack where he was coming from. and that is what got us all those goals. So he had such an outstanding game in the first half. Second half, we saw that was a weakness. It was a strength, but it became a weakness. And then I think we had a little bit more legs. We were a little bit more fleet-footed in the second half. So as it wears on, we started to get closer and closer and closer. And we scored 3.
Who I thought played well as well was Ming and King. I think both of them had good games from a defensive perspective for Cavaliers as well.
No, yes, Ming and King. King is a teenager. I don't know if he's 20 yet, but Ming and King. Ming was the captain.
Yeah.
They have a formidable partnership down there. We had young Leng there too.
Right.
Of Tampa Down. That backline is very, very young. Probably one of the youngest in the league. And so far, they have shown that their competence. King is actually such a good ball handler from there. So we're kind of proud of him and hope that he will go places. But the truth is, that game was high intensity. A lot of runners was on the field. It was always going to be one of those games. Abbeville and Cavalier don't play boring games, I must tell you. They have had matches that finish 4-3, 3-2. That's the type of score. We gave him 3-love before 3-1. So once Cavalier and Arnett comes to the pitch, Wolves is going to score. As far as I remember, only one goal we have ever drawn 0-0. One match. No other match from Cavalier and Abbeville have been playing has ever drawn 0-0 except one.
between Cavaliers and Arnett Gardens?
Yes, only one. Azerbaijan 0-0. So whenever those two teams play, you can be assured goals is going to be scored.
All right, cool. So I've brought up now the point standing. Don't know if you can see it fully, but the point standing, we have Portmore. Right. Portmore
Yes,
lead with 9 points. Harbourview second with 8 points. Tied with Veer also with 8 points, right? Then you have Cavaliers on 7, Waterhouse 5. I mean, they have played a game less.
Right.
Mount Pleasant is on 5. Tivoli is on 4. Arnett on 3 points. Dunbeholden on 3. Molynes 2. And Humble Lion yet to get off the mark.
And what is significant is that Harbourview, Veer, and Waterhouse has not tasted defeat since the start of the competition. So those are the 4 farm teams at this particular point in time. They are playing the best. Although Portmore suffered a defeat to Veer, Portmore actually is in a position where they are still leading because they are so good. They won 3 games. So interesting time.
Yeah, interesting time. And then Ming Chang scored 1 more goal, so he's now leading. I mean, he has 4 goals now. In terms of you're talking about persons who, but I think Shaquille Thomas has 3 goals now, so he's just behind him.
No, Shani have 2 goals and the other guy Messam has 2. So those are the closest thing to Chung. So
I thought didn't Shaquille Thomas scored before?
He didn't. He missed
no, it wasn't him. All right. I know we're not at the general section yet, but because these questions are related to Cavaliers and we're talking about Cavaliers, this one in particular, someone is asking about they're asking about Mitu.
Yes, he's a Cavalier. He has resumed training less than a month. So we are getting him up to shape. Remember, we don't just play the game like that. You have to go through certain tactical things. So all of those things that we had done before he came, he has to be going through some of those. The other problem that we're having is that, remember, it's a professional league. We're only allowed 5 players, amateur players in the league, and we have a plethora. We have about 9 amateur players because of our age. What makes up our squad. So the truth is we have 9 and we have to pick 5 all the time. So young Christopher Ainsworth at 15 came on and took about 3 shots at the goal. It was important that we give Christopher Ainsworth a run out. So Meto will soon get his chance. So just hold up, you can see. All
right, and then someone is also asking where the game, because I know the venues are changing. Do they go back to
the games that Captain Burrell centered for this weekend?
For this weekend, okay, because they were originally scheduled for the National Stadium.
Yes, but I mean, it's any of the 3 venues. Don't hold anybody to anyone.
Okay. So it could be anyone on any weekend.
Yeah, because sometimes they're not available.
Okay.
What is happening?
Okay, and then Richard Stewart says when you play on good fields, it helps a lot to improve the game, which is true. And I think the fields have really helped. The whole quality of the league has changed, and I think even the players themselves are acting even more professional. In their own demeanor and how they carry themselves. The coaches are, gone are the days when you have those persons even providing medical assistance. You see a man run out with him ice alone in him hand and all of them things. Everything is changing, and it's good to see that as a league, improve itself, that even the marketability of the league will improve. But the team of the week, we normally select a team of the week. And so I have in goal, I always like to select a goalkeeper that has a clean sheet. All right, so I have as my in my team for the week. Though he didn't do a lot because the defense was very good, I had a choice between this goalkeeper and the Harbourview goalkeeper, and I chose this goalkeeper because he don't concede no goal. Jaden White of Cavaliers. Any objection, Mr. Speed, or you'd give it
No, but I thought Jadine White had his best game that I've ever seen him for a long while. I must tell you, he made a magnificent left-handed save.
Yeah, he did.
From one of the Ghana attacker. One of the time a ball came over in the 6-yard box and he just mowed down his own defender to get to it. I thought he was energetic. It's one of the best game for two. It looked away because we don't concede, but I thought him was up the scratch, up the standard.
Yeah. So people, is not Mr. Speed don't select the team. The team
No,
of the
no.
week, you understand? I do, right? And so I do it from, and then I will share it with him. And then in defense, I change up the formation to 3-4-3 this week because you understand me. I think I had less impressive defenders this week than last time. So I thought Liston James from Mount Pleasant played well. So I have him as part of this three. Johnny Talbot. And I battled between King or Ming. I didn't know which one to choose. So I just say, you know what? I went mini, miny, more. And then something said to me, K come before M. So I chose King. So my back three is Liston James, Johnny Talbot, and King from Cavaliers. What are your thoughts?
Some backline, if that backline actually played in a game, that would be a good backline.
All right. So people in the comments, you can let us know what your thoughts are. Now, in midfield, I have four in midfield. I have Ricardo.
Talbot used to play for me too. I was the one who gave him his first game in the Premier League. Right. So it's an all Cavalier backline.
Okay. Yes. Well, let me see if that will happen with the midfield. In midfield, I have Ricardo Morris from Portmore United, and I have Duxley, because Duxley, who plays centre back for you, I think early in the season, he played centre back, I think, in the first game, but he played in midfield. Had a very good game. He's a very good passer of the ball. He really concedes possession. He's good at breaking up plays. Scored a very good goal. So I have him alongside. That is Duxley of Cavaliers Football Club. He sits in midfield with Ricardo Morris. I had Nicholas Nelson from Mullines United because he scored a goal.
No, Nicholas Nelson is a forward. Jeremy Nelson is a midfielder.
Well, I know, but so this is why I said that I am like he had such a good game because I don't have him in my forward line.
Oh.
But you can tell me now because we can change it, so we can move Nicholas Nelson from there, and because I had Webster from Cavaliers there, and I had this guy called James from Portmore, Shandy James. Very good game, very good goal as well. Lot of confidence, and so that was the four that I had. So I had Shandy James, Ricardo Morris, Duxley, and Nicholas Nelson.
Okay.
Right up front now, but I can remove Nelson because I can because I also believe that Webster, and this was a challenger because I thought Webster to me was the most effective offensive player for Cavaliers, though he did not score.
No, well, he had 2 assists. He had 2 assists in the game, and he'll put one on a platter for Atkinson. We didn't score. So as a player who create chances, he would have been the most productive for the week. That's Webster.
So there you go. So let's see. Up front I have Messam. He plays for Veer. He scored 2 goals. Thomas from Cavaliers, he scored 2 goals. And I have Scott from. So this is where I'm going to make the change. So I'm going to put Webster in midfield and move Nelson up front instead of Tevin Scott. So that is the team of the week.
Yeah. Let me hear what the fans say, because I'm not going to comment.
People in the comment section, tell me what you think. Who do you believe should get a place in the starting 11? So let me give it again. We have Jaden White in goal. We have a back three of Liston James, Johnny Talbot, and not Ming, King from Cavaliers. In midfield, we have Shandy James, Ricardo Morris, Duxley, and we have Webster from Cavaliers. Up front, we have Nicholas Nelson, Shaquille Thomas, and Messam from Veer. What are your thoughts, people?
Nicholas Nelson used to play for Cavalier too, right? Just and Tevin Scott, so that's fine.
All right, boss. I need to get some of these players on the program, to find out some of these, to ask them. So why did you leave Cavaliers? I mean, this is like a whole Cavaliers team that has left. What has happened?
I don't even know why you said they leave, but
yeah, but so that is the team of the week, people. Come on, man. Let me know what your thoughts are. What are your thoughts on the team of the week? Do you agree? Do you disagree? Who you think deserves a space? And who it should be? Yeah, who deserve? There are other players that we could put on the bench, but who else is there?
Can we look at next week? Because
next.
I have to make a little cut and then I'll join back in 5 minutes, but let us do it for 10 minutes. And then
so next week, no, well, not next week, this week.
This week, yeah.
Right, so we have Veer versus Harborview.
Top of the table clash, 2 unbeaten teams.
Yeah. And
one defensive coach and one attacking coach.
I think that is why I need to check up, because these two coaches should be on the program. I don't know if them realize that watch them want to invite the two away when the two are supposed to play. So I don't.
This is the match. I think this is probably one of the match of the rounds. Interesting. I have to go and watch this one. I don't even want to see it on TV. I want to see it live.
It is really going to be a good game. It's going to be a
enthralling game. Both unbeaten, both on 8 points. They could become on 9 points, both of them, or one of them could decide to take a scalp and the unbeaten tag will go on. But this is really one of the true matchup. One of the more defensive, enterprising coach in Ludlow, Bernard. As you know, Donovan Duke is a master at defense. He can defend in his own half, he can defend in the opponent half. Put us your team to defend in the middle of the park. This is intriguing.
You know what? I am not going to make a pick on this game. Like I am waiting until Mr. Bernard comes on and David Price see what they have to say. It's very hard to call because how these teams play, I could see like attack can break down defense. Like I could envision that happening. Like Harborview playing well attacking, but they can't break down Veer because Veer is playing good defensively. But what you think always is good attack or good defense?
Better defense every time.
Better defense always beat good attack?
No, well, attack win matches, defense win championship. So that's what they always say. So the thing here is that just like in the Portmore game, Veer was very resolute in defense. One counter attack. No, they pressed the ball and win a counter press and was able to score against Portmore. And so you could see Duke looking at the counter attack this year, this match. And if Harborview is not like a little bit circumspect in all the attack, then if Duke win the ball, he could have opening. So that is why it's an try. I'm going to go out on a limb though, since it's not any of my team. I say both teams will still be unbeaten after the game, and they'll be both on 9 points.
All right. You're picking a draw. I think there's going to be a 1-0 victory, but I'm not going to say where it's going yet. But I think somebody is going to nip this by a goal to nil. The favorite Marino Park, the most strategy is going to be used, and somebody's coming out by a goal to nil. But very, very exciting game. Mullines Dumbleholden, I think, is very interesting because these two coaches are both new in terms of taking over the jobs. One lost, one tied, and so I think they're coming into this still kind of feeling out, looking at their teams, and you know, it is a game to see how these coaches are now transitioning the teams from who was last there. I think this is a better test of where these coaches are going. So it's a next interesting game out there. And like I said earlier, I mentioned this one, Humberline and Portmore. What are your thoughts?
Well, before I go to Humberline and Portmore, for this second one, I can tell you that both going to come with all guns blazing. They need the points if they're going to hang around to have chances of going into the top 6. Both teams would have ambition to go into the top 6, both Mullines and Dunderwollen. So this is one of those games that they're gonna swap attack for attack. And I think whoever score first will probably hang on because the other one will probably just back up and defend. I've never seen Mullines really defend. They have always just play an even game. So, but with this new coach, that might change. But I think both of them is going to go for the win. And but I'm not sure who's going to take it. As it comes to Portmore and Umberline, well, I'll go to the farm book. Simple. You don't need a long discussion. I'll go to the farm book.
Yeah. Well, you know what? The thing name, I am sure sports, So anything I say,
You're sure?
yes, so I cannot say I am not sure. You understand me? All right. So what you know what? I was missing some of the comments. People, I don't have a moderator yet, We don't reach that stage yet. So I see some comments. Let me see if anybody have anyone in there. All right. I see somebody here saying that Humble Lion have too much old players. Who in the so Ryan LFC actually a big country. You need to take this one because I know you have to go. So he has a couple of questions for you. So why don't you take up that one?
What?
Yeah, see there, man.
In the country? No.
Yeah.
Portmore.
Okay, Portmore. There you go. There you go. I think they are playing the best football. To be honest, yeah, man. Respect.
Right. Them have pedigree. Them have pedigree. Them win the championship for the last 3 years. I mean, them have pedigree.
Yeah, man. Respect Ryan LFC and Marlon Nelson. So the other game is the Portmore Humble Lion game.
Ryan LFC the other day, I make a comment in your thing. Your player say big up you up, and Cataract say somebody have use my name to make comment. It was me here. It was me, but nobody say nothing after that. I made that big up still.
You hear that, Ryan? The man say he was in. He was watching your video, and he was big you up, and a man said somebody using his name, so it was actually him. You understand me? So you know that he can't be covert anymore when him come over there. You know it's actually it's actually him. Yeah, man. But what are your thoughts on this Humble Lion Portmore game? Because I am seeing one more defeat for Humble Lion. I don't see Humble Lion recovering until they make some changes. Either they
That's
change
what I said. I'm going for the farm book. I'm sticking
Yeah.
to the farm book.
unless they change the players, which is very unlikely at this stage of the season. And are there other coaches out there that they could? God, that is the next thing. I mean, are there other coaches out there that would take on the job at this point of the season? You know?
Yeah, man, there's coach this there. I mean, there's a lot of coach who's not working now, so I expect another. If you mean, but why are you saying that? Mr. Price is a director at Humberland, I'm not a little coach only, So
He's a director at Humberland or Boystown.
At Humberland.
I didn't know that he was a director, man.
Yeah, he is.
Okay, I didn't know that. Well, if you're a director, you can't really get fired still. You only can be reassigned. But Mount Pleasant versus Arnett.
Oh, that's gonna be tricky. And I
Really?
tell you why.
I
Yes.
think Mount Pleasant wins.
No, not so easy. And the reason is simple. At Arnett has shown that they are pacey and they will run for long periods of time. And Mount Pleasant, to me, look like they haven't put their best foot forward as yet. Because if you can concede late goals, above you dominated them, I wouldn't have said they were at their best yet. I mean, they are going to come into form because of the quality. And but I believe that this game again would be close. Mount Pleasant have a lot more experience, but I wouldn't write off on it. No.
Okay. All right. And Tivoli Waterhouse coming off the rest week. Tivoli coming off their defeat. I am picking Waterhouse. 2-1.
Yeah, we go with the farm book again. Go with the farm book. I agree with you.
Yeah, so
Waterhouse again. Ryan is one of the best prepared team too. They have managed to put together a really good team with experiences and youth, and that is what's going to make the difference. You see, when you have traditional team and even a lot of players leave, they can go back and get players who you never even remember existed. Good quality players to come back into the ranks, and that is what Waterhouse and Portmore has been able to do. They have looked at their vast reservoir of players and brought them back in this truncated season. and they will get better. They will add those players to their roster as the season go on and get better and better. I'm almost sure. Remember that Marcel Gales, coach Georges, he can tap into that reserve that he had there too. Remember that's how he got the player that used the diminutive player that used to play for him at Georges, a top player.
Chevron Stewart.
Yes, come back and playing for him now. So those coaches and those traditional teams have a lot of reserve to tap into. So I wouldn't even be surprised if Waterhouse have a new player that you have never seen yet for the season coming in. Just like how Portmore introduced, like a Demar was who nobody had seen for since the start of the season, and he came in and scored.
Yeah, I was trying to remember which team that guy used to play for because I know him in schoolboy football.
He used to play for Wolmer's.
Wolmer's. And then I saw Rafiq. Is it Rafiq Brian playing
Rafiq Brian for Portmore too, yes.
For Portmore. Where was he? Like this guy was, this guy was a clinical center forward at I think JC, in his schoolboy years when JC was dominant and just disappeared off the scene.
Rafiq Brian?
Yeah.
No, he went to play for Hornet Guard.
He wasn't playing.
Yeah, man, he was. For us a while, yeah.
Okay. All right.
And then him go Waterhouse for a while.
Okay.
And I see your blog, man. I see your blog. you talk some things. Some might right, some might not so right, but I must tell you though, Ryan, it's a big decision for me because you have to realize that no money in that you just get peer abuse. And what I do at the club right now is very good. We're able to, stay afloat. We export some players, and we are geared up for the third phase where we are going to do better than how we have been doing now. If you realize, my boss, a 15-year-old, a 16-year-old, a 17-year-old this year in our Premier League team. So just imagine what those players are going to be in the next 2 or 3 years. So we have a plan now at the club, Cavalier, and we're focusing on that now. Talk about the presidency in 3 years' time. If you know about politics, 3 years is a long time, so we're not looking at that, right?
Yeah, and people when I hear a person in accounting or in finances say that they are staying afloat, it means that they are making a profit. That's what it really means. That's what it translates to, right?
After years of losses. After years and years of losses.
Yeah, but looking forward to a good weekend. I have a next big question, but I'm going to, because I know we have to go and then come back, hopefully, but I want you to think about it as I take the 5-minute break, and then hopefully Mr. Price said that he will be on at 3. But I want to talk about in this truncated season, what is more important, how players prepare mentally or how they prepare physically? Oh, Demar was overseas at college. Somebody saying that this is Demar Rose.
It was, yes. And then he came back.
And then he came.
Well,
Didn't Rafiq Brian go away too? I'm very sure that he was away, man.
Rafiq Brian went on a trial in Turkey, and they were going to sign him.
Yeah.
You'll have to ask him what I don't.
Right.
I know they were going to sign him though.
But something happened. Okay, I'll do some. Right, LFC, do you know what happened? Because I know you have the scoop on the players, But go ahead, you were going to answer about in this truncated season. Is
right.
It? Yeah.
So a footballer is made up of a couple of parts, right? You could be genetically gifted, where you're athletic, and so you are able to keep your body in a tip-top condition even when you're not training. So you have that type of some of those type of footballers, right? Which you have. You have a next set of footballer that struggles to keep them right playing weight. So in this truncated season, we have some of those because we haven't played for 15 years. You have a next set of footballer
15 months.
15 months. Who is their mind is strong. Their mind is very strong. They have discipline. So you have those set playing to, and then you have the gifted, technically then just gifted. So you have different type of footballer that play in the sport. The footballers them that is indisciplined and never keep themselves in a shape, or they weren't thinking about improvements to their game or professionalism, those is going to struggle for this season. So if you have a lot of those in your team is going to struggle. If you have young, gifted footballers, even if they weren't in training before, they will catch on much faster. The problem with, even if you catch on in 7 weeks or 8 weeks, the people who are ahead of you would have gone further ahead again. And that is why you're playing catch up all the time. So I'm seeing after 5 weeks this weekend, if you're in the lower part of the tables, I don't see how you're going to get out of it again so easy, unless a miracle happens and you win all the rest of your games. But so far, it's really the quality of your team, who you pick to be in your squad, going to decide what happened in this particular season.
So what you're saying is that it is those players who have the right mentality and the right mental preparedness
and discipline.
And right, which include discipline, it is those players and those teams that are going to do better.
Yes. So the teams with more of those, the teams with more of those are the ones who are going to do better. Teams with less, you're going to finish at the bottom of the tables.
All right, so you're somebody saying that you're being very I think that had to do with your answer to Ryan LFC's.
He used to play football for me too, that 1 year.
Oh yeah. Oh, he used to play for you. Oh, yeah. Hey, Mr. Brian Mighton, you need to tell me. All right. Well, I don't want to say why you leave, because the last time I said why players leave, Mr. Speid corrected me. Why did he send you away?
No, he never leave. This one never leave. Just easy for work and all of that. But this one never leave.
Yeah, man. And this is this is the man who got all of the Gold Cup matches over there, and he's going to Dallas to follow the Reggae Boys. Big up, Mr. Blake.
Yeah, man.
So somebody saying Harbour View 3 or giving their prediction, say Harbour View 3 Veer nil. That is not going to happen. Listen, Pesa, I can tell you this. Unless Aduki side get a red card, he's not going to get 3. Let me say it's not impossible, but it's highly unlikely.
I can't remember any Duki team get 3.
Get 3, love. I'm telling you. I have to give credit where credit is due. He's very
only when him go the cup over in Jamaica under 23, then get a 3 love. Yeah. I've never seen him get 3 local.
But you know that he has been part of the under 17, under 20, under 23 and national setup, So he's I want us to understand that he's a very good coach, and normally
he's an A license coach. He's not he has an A license. He's one of the most qualified coach here too.
Okay. Yeah, man, very good coach. And so that 3, somebody said that for the team that we pick. Let me just put that up there. I think I hope it's not Brian Might again, but they said that too much Cavaliers players in the team. But how many Cavaliers?
I agree with you. The person pick up, I agree with you. Don't worry, I agree with you.
Really?
Yeah, I agree with the man.
Then tell me who to replace. I don't have a problem with that person saying that the team need to change, but tell me who need to replace the players. Oh, it was Ryan LFC. So Ryan, what you need to tell me is who.
You must have Ryan talk about all the one who stop playing, like Talbot
and he's talking about those who are not at the club still. Do I get it? He said that I haven't seen any, so I use this medium each week. Can you select a team of the week and advertise it? Actually select a team of the week, but I need to figure out how to get it on screen. But every week we do that, we select a team of the week, but I need to find a way to get it. I can post it on Instagram.
No, yeah, how social media is. So if you post it like in the Premier League group, and then you post it on Instagram, then it just flow around. You don't have to worry about it.
Yeah, man, but I have it. I can send it to you, because that is important, because people need to know the players. But I realize also, for those of you, after the games are played, a lot of them are posted on YouTube. I realize that there's the games. Right, there's a
JPL posted within a couple of hours, and then in between 2 to 3 days time, the full games are posted.
The full games are posted. So it's called a JPL something. I don't know what.
Just go on YouTube and type in the name of the team and it come up and you just watch.
But I'll tell you, watch the Cavaliers Arnett Garner games. Very good game last weekend, and the Portmore. Look at how Portmore United played. and very, 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 like I said, it was a very good game, and looking forward to the games, you know, this weekend.
And David Price, if you're listening, come on now, because I want to hand over to you before I leave, man. Just come now.
Yeah, man. I don't know. I kind of felt like, but let me take some questions from the guests, because I was surprised to see so many red cards this week. Marky, they were warranted. That Cavaliers goalkeeper is that always give trouble in. I remember a few seasons ago he was playing when he played against Mount Pleasant down here. They had a major, and I'm almost certain that he was suspended at that time. Yeah, but Ryan LSC, Mr. Speed, I want to see your players them in England.
Oh, you know, sir, I don't want none of them to go into the MLS too. I agree with you, but we have some in Europe, so we have to kind of stick with time.
Why you don't want them in MLS?
Because the structure of that organization is just to play the players. They're not into the transfer and the development part. It's just for them to win their league. While in Europe, it's different. They talk about developing player and push them on to bigger leagues and make more money off them. That.
Okay.
You don't have no game for watch now, so watch it Premier League.
Cataract. No, this is Cataract. Let me help you. You cannot, because remember, when you are going to complain about the local footballers, you need to be watching them, so you can say, listen, I watched this player when Portmore and so play, when Tivoli, so you can have point of references for your argument. So you have to find the time. You never can tell. One of these players may be playing for Leeds next season.
Well, not only that, a lot of our players have much more gifted skills than a lot of those players that I'm watching in England and all of those places. You should see people like Dwayne Atkinson at him best in full cry type of skills that him exhibit, not normal. Just a matter of time.
This is a very good question, because this is an era. These are the two eras that need to be filled in the national team right now. I'm not saying that any of the local players can fill it right now, but who are the players that we identify from the league so far that we could,
Which our league here?
Yeah, I think that important before Mr. Speed. Who are the top three CDM and why? Which is, I think he's speaking about, and you can clarify Cataract. He's speaking about playing in the league right now from what we have seen.
You want time, man.
All right, so I can tell you from what I've seen. I see this guy there's a youngster from Waterhouse. I think he has been part of the national, Thomas. I think he has been a part of the national setup before.
But Thomas is really a left back, They put him on the right back because they want to play the other guy.
Campbell. There's an ex-guy called Campbell who plays right back. I think he's very good. Very good young right back that can be groomed. I think this guy from Harborview, very good youngster as well. I think it is Mullines who has a right back called James. I think he's good enough. Cavaliers don't use a right back here. I know sometimes they have used Ming out there. And I don't, but those are a couple of the players that I've seen in terms of right back. At CDM, I see Sigel Knight is a CDM. This guy called Howell, I think.
Come on, Howell at 35. I'm sure I'm not asked about Howell.
He's 35? No man, not Howell at Humble Lion.
Oh, Ramon Howell from Waterhouse.
From Waterhouse, I think he is good. Harborview have one called Priestley.
Yes, Diamond. He's smooth.
He's very good.
And you have one of Mount Pleasant who you always ask about.
Well, Alwyn Harvey was a part of the under 23. I think right now I don't. Oh no, Rankin needs a spanking. You need to up him game.
Rankin needs to play for Cavaliers.
Who said that? Mr. Speed, not get bright.
Better than Leeds. Oh, if you watch some of my talented players out here, you're the more excited when them exhibition certain skills. Just trust me upon that, man. Just watch it the league, and you'll see.
Yeah, and then not even the US want their promising players in the MLS.
That is so true because the national team that they have now, they build it on.
No, but the team in the Gold Cup is all MLS players. All the players in the team right now, I think. Well, let's say.
But it's not their team. This is not their this is not their best team.
Okay.
Team that is playing the MLS is not their best team.
Okay. Well, that is true. Yeah, man. In the JPL, Mr. Speid, who are the top 3 right back and see them on your ration? No, I mean, do you agree with? Because I just gave 3. I gave Sigel Knight. I gave Sigel Knight, Priestley in terms of CDM, and who again? Howell from Waterhouse are the 3. I don't know if anyone said no anyone else. Right back, I see the youngster called Campbell from Waterhouse, James from Mullines, and Jimenez from Harvard.
Ming is a right back, you know. Ming is a right back. It's just that with him can play stop.
Yeah, because he played right back last season.
Yeah, him just can play right back. I'm going to come on my phone, so just let me know when you see me coming on.
Okay. Oh yeah, man, I will. So, Mr. Speid, what wrong with that? you should have mentioned. You realize I should have mentioned that number now.
Let me just rephrase. If you don't start in I'm club, then cataract. So let's see where we're wrong already, right?
No. Oh well, yeah. That distinction. All right. Ranking should not go to Mount Pleasant. Where's it? You mean this is how football is? I mean, he was being offered a good contract. Cavaliers was going to get some money. Why shouldn't he have gone to? You can't say that unseen. At the end of the day, money matters. Don't be fooled. Money matters. It is not everything, but money matters. And there are some players who are going to move for money, and we have to appreciate and understand that. You say him get too comfortable, and hence his development stop. I don't know if his development has stopped because you can never tell. I think Mount Pleasant will improve as the season progresses. Whether or not he will, and let me say this again. I will also say there must be a reason why Cavaliers let him go. Did you think about that? Oh, there must be a reason why Cavaliers release him. So it's not just a Mount Pleasant thing. Could it be that the same problems he's having at Mount Pleasant? I know Mr. Speid can't get into that because he's not at his club, but he could have the same problems that you're seeing in his game at Mount Pleasant. He could have been having at Cavaliers. Maybe that is why Cavaliers let him go.
No. He never have those problems. He was a star central defensive midfielder in the league when he was at Cavalier. That wasn't his problem. Remember, it's more complex, as you say. The truth is, I had him from Sandals, so they retained interest in him. And also remember, my policy is to bring through the youth. So if he was probably blocking a youth, I would probably do have a problem transferring him out. So my thing is a little bit more complex.
Okay. We need a solid right back for sure. But all right. So Ketarak is saying that I'm scrambling for names and I'm not hearing rational. No, Ketarak, what I'm saying is that I don't think right now in our local football we have a CDM that can play for the Reggae Boys. Let me just say that right off the bat. Right now, we don't. And I'm saying that we don't have a right back that I think can play for in the World Cup qualifying. I don't. But in terms of young players in the league as it's coming up, I just mentioned those names because they have been showing the best in the league, look solid, and they're 17-year-old, 18 in that kind of age. And so that is the point I'm making. I'm not saying that I don't think none of the position we need in the national team can be filled from the local league right now. That is my position. Other people may view it differently. One, because there was 15 months of no football, and that has affected the development of some of the players, and it is too short a window. But I think for 2026, we should be able, if people continue to work with these players, have them develop where we may be able to find a couple of them representing. I think we could. Because there are some 15 and 16-year-olds playing in the league that if people don't tell you the ages, you would not know. What are your thoughts on that, Mr. Speid?
Well, remember that we and the JFF come to an agreement that, listen, don't relegate any teams for 3 years, so we'll be able to develop. So it was a deliberate ploy for us to go back down young and build upwards. So now we know we have 22 central defensive midfielders who play almost every day. So pretty soon you will start to see the good ones emerge, and some of them pretty young now. We have like an 18-year-old in Arnett Garden central midfield. We have the same 19-year-old in Tivoli central midfield. We have a 20-year-old. So there's a lot of them in training now coming up. So we don't have to rush them. This World Cup qualifiers, you can't look here for one of them. We have to look overseas or somewhere else, because I think the coach would have scouted everybody here. So yes, you're right. These are for the future. But guess what? We start to groom them from 18, 17 come up, and I think by the time in the next 2-3 years they'll be ready to represent the national team, and we'll have a plethora of young defensive midfielders to choose from.
Yeah, he's Ryan LFC. Yeah, that's a very good question. I think there was something, but respond to that, Mr. Speid, because I thought there was something in the, let me say, in the pipeline for the YouTubers, the bloggers, people like Ryan LFC, Formula Sport, Coach's Desk, sports down the middle, unseen sport. How can they help? I think that is the question he's asking.
Well, I am happy that you said that, Ryan, because the truth is, you guys combine have a very good platform where you can actually expose the Premier League to the world. I did give my people a list of the bloggers that they should contact to try and see if that you can help us in terms of what management is doing now. Talk about the games. I want you to also be able to get clippings, to be able to use clippings to show the highlights of the league in any way you feel fit. So we are going to be contacting you. I just need to get back to the marketing the arm and say, listen, we talk about it, you're missing an opportunity here. So yes, we want all of the bloggers to carry a little, story, a little half hour each week on what is happening, what is going to happen in the next round of games. But what we want to do is to give you permission to use footage, but you think can be shot up a little bit more.
Yeah. Somebody is telling me now that this is the James I was talking about, that he he was at Cavaliers as well. Are you sold him from your factory?
No, man, another James. I'm talking about Liston James. That one that got a down the bowling, yes, used to be at Cavalier today. He played for us in the Super League. But as I said before, Cavaliers complex is not just, we look at things a little bit different. It's a business we're running. And that is why James is not there. But James has been tormenting to Cavalier in the last few seasons. He has scored against us twice from right back. So we know what he can do. We know where he get it from. But it's not because they don't have talent why they're not playing for Cavalier. We're complex. It's a little more complex than that.
All right. Well, we welcome Mr. Price.
Yes.
Welcome to the show. Welcome to the show, man. Yeah, man. All right. So,
Mr. Speid.
Yeah.
Respect.
Yeah, man. We'll take a couple of questions and then we'll get to you. Mr. Speid, I honestly believe once we invest in youth development and stop using schoolboy football to develop youth players, we can easily be number one in CONCACAF.
I agree 100%. I mean, it's not our plan to use schoolboys to develop the football. Just to add on what we were saying when we had the MOU with the JFF, we promised to play under 17 and under 20 competition among the elite teams. So those players will be exposed to the top quality coaching. Also, we have also developed a player pathway for us to identify talent from early. The JFF has also come up with a format for academies, what you have to do, what you do's and don'ts. That document is ready for distribution. So to be honest, we can't kill the schoolboy because they have helped us tremendously over the year to fill the gap when we didn't have anything going. So that's how it is. So yes, you're right, but we want to incorporate them and not to throw them away in our development process.
Okay. All right. Mr. Price. So we have gone through. So we're just taking. Oh, you're on the phone. All right. So let me see. Question for Mr. Speed. How old was the player who scored against Jamaica last Tuesday night? Last Tuesday night. Who is Brian Ruiz? Oh, it's Brian Ruiz.
Yeah, I know him is 35.
Hey, hey, listen, Mr.
That
Blake.
trivia.
Mr. oh, Mr. Blake, you're Mr.
What
Speed.
would
I
that mean?
forgot.
What that mean? What that
No,
mean?
no,
What that
no,
mean?
no,
What
no.
does that mean? Because him 35 and score against us.
You are Mr. Blake. I forgot the conversation. Whatever. But well, you see the
More ask him.
evidence.
More ask him how old he was when him start play cataract sound.
Oh, but this is talking about ranking. Mr. Price is here from. I don't know if he wants to take this. Mr. Price, I have persons seen that you're part of Mount Pleasant to some aspect. I have persons saying that they believe that rankings development has hit a snag um at Mount Pleasant. Like his trajectory has changed to like almost going down. And what is the plan to develop him? Because a few seasons ago he was one of the number one central defensive midfielders in the island. Can you speak on that? Seeing that you have your
Not,
ear on the
not
ground at Mount Pleasant.
not really. Remember, I am, yeah, and it's a good thing we can clarify. I am the head of player recruiting for the academy, which is the school. Um, so I could definitely tell you what is the development part for the youngsters at the school. Um, as relates to, yeah, definitely, but
Oh,
as relates to the senior program and ranking, I couldn't speak to that. I mean, as I said before, it is all relative to who is looking at it. Player could lose form as well. Um, Personally, for me, I think it's difficult if wide of you not getting the football. It's difficult for quality to be hidden. If you really have quality, and I mean, players can lose form. You know, in the system he played with Mr. Speed, um, the game practically ran through him in terms of in the role is like a Perlo role. Speed used to have him a play. So what happened is that he was on the ball a lot, and then you could see the repertoire of passes and so on. So it could be that the system in which he's being used sort of doesn't emphasize that style of play, and as such maybe stifling. But as I said before, it's a matter of it could be farm, it could be as the people are saying, but I don't want to comment too much on that. As I said before, I can definitely tell you what the development part
for the
for the
youngsters.
100 boys, the 100 boys at the school, me can tell you that the development part. But
So you hear
couldn't
that, people? I hope the people hear that Mount Pleasant Academy have 100 youngsters now doing school and learning football. Whoa.
yeah. Well, since the COVID, we had some restrictions, so we have to be doing the work from home as well. But in terms
Okay.
of our total enrollment, we did it the 100 mark, and we are happy to know that even through the period of COVID, we were able to stick with the youngsters um, and continue to help them. Devante Campbell, we have about five of them in and around the squad now.
Yeah.
The game against Mullines, three of them came
Three,
on
three,
pitch.
yes.
So
What are
all
the
of them,
ages? The ones that came on.
16, going to 17. Um, all of those are kids who are still at school. Um, and that's one of the pathways that we have for them in terms of the once they have come through the system, youth tournaments, both local and overseas, the pathway in terms of senior into that transition is the senior team. And I think as we go further into the future, you should see the involvement of more of them, in successive seasons to come. really an opportune season this one to use them, but we'll know. Mr. Speed, you are the best to advise. The winner for the Premier League this season, do they get a CONCACAF place
Yeah, both winner and runners up get
for
spaces.
this present truncated season?
Yes, yeah, it's still a league. It's what counts.
No, man, because I heard some rumblings regarding the timeline in terms of there was a cutoff time that all of this should have been done in order to qualify to get a CONCACAF spot. So I wanted to clarify that because I was told that there is no CONCACAF space.
You can respond with okay.
No, man. If there's any CONCACAF competition playing, both our champion and runners up will be the ones playing in that league. This is an official Jamaica Premier League that goes on in the records, and the winner will be eligible for whatever CONCACAF is playing. There's no two way about it. Remember, it gets more complicated because our last two qualified teams actually did not go to the CONCACAF tournament. They opt out. So it's a clean slate, and the winner and runners up definitely goes through.
So there is no timeline as to when you would have to cut off your league to name a champion in order to be able to take up the slot for this season.
Well, that I don't know.
In other words, the other league.
Remember again, the rule don't really even say that. The rule says anybody the JFF sends. So if somebody is leading first and second, the JFF could decide to send those two teams if there's a cutoff point.
All right. Listen, I have a lot of comments, so I'm going to come back. People, listen, I'm working the comments so Mr. Speed and Mr. Price can get some of them, all right, and answer them because I think what you said earlier, I think Oyini is responding to it. It's heartening to hear. Always welcome the emergence of Jamaican-born players. But yes, right, all right. Whoa, we're trying to read where I mentioned any names. All right. Mr. Speed, this is the next one for you, and then we take some of the comments. We need more players to talk about we need more people, which is what is happening now. Yeah, man. Okay, I need that document. Who is asking about? What document? To start up academy. You mentioned document?
Well, you have to go through your parish associations. They are the ones who will have it. And if we can have those academies and adhere to what is in the documents, we'll go a far way in developing up players. There's going to be a ranking system, so you become an A academy or a B or a C or a D. So you can't even trick anybody anymore. So people who come and say they have an academy, don't have no qualification, not affiliated, don't have no structure, yeah, you might get a dog license. Not the A license. So there's going to be structure in this. It's actually a very good document. I'm proud of it, really.
Okay, so you said that for a person who wants to start an academy, they would have to go through their parish association before they would have access to that document.
And apply it to the JFF. Well, I mean, we have a document too, but we want the proper way is to go to your parish association, because even though the competitions will not be parish competitions, it will be academic competitions. The JFF not gonna give you a license unless your parish think you're a good person, because high on the agenda is safeguarding children, not pedophile, not type of people who gonna put the disadvantaged, whether it's girl or boys, in harm's way. Those people will not get licensed to operate in the academy. So pretty decent document. So all of those things you have to get clearances, etc. Pretty comprehensive.
Okay. Somebody was asking about this footballer from Arnett Garden, Marlon Martin. I think he played in the game, but said that he's a player to watch out for. Did you watch that Arnett Garden Cavaliers game, Mr. Price? You have any comment on that player? Because I didn't think he was a standout player. I know it seemed like it was his first game.
Yeah, I mean, we have to give that time in terms of Martin. they you know, we call the game right, but Arnett never scored their goals, you know. I told Mr. Speed come and spoke about the defense, and after we said, well, I
Yeah.
said there were 2 goals in it. If Mr. Speed wanted, and Mr. Speed struggling take 3. You said 3-2, you know.
Yes, yes,
Um,
yes.
but I think yeah, Arnett 2 was in it for Arnett in the first half, and I think um, Mr. Speed outfoxed them eventually. And I think the addition, getting back his striker, was critical because a lot
Yeah,
of work in
Thomas.
and around the back. But I think Martin, as I said before, can't say he's a bad player or a good player. You have to give him some time. I mean, the greatest thing is that they are being showcased in the league. And the more they play, is the more their qualities will come out. So we'll take note of that Unseen Sports, Marlon Martin.
Yeah, yeah. But well, we spoke about the game, but I will say that remember we are talking about the Humble Lion game,
Yeah,
with
with
Veer,
Duki.
with
Yeah.
Ducky. Yeah, but so this weekend we spoke about it. But what are your thoughts? The big game is Veer versus Harborview. I say we can take that, and then you can take that,
You
Mr.
spoke to
Price, and then
the coaches. The coaches came on.
no, the coach. I feel like the coaches were ducking it out because both of them played. So when I spoke to them, I didn't know that both of them will be playing each other.
But it's not a bad thing because it's like a preview to the game. So I mean,
I think, I think like they duck
yeah.
it out. So let's see after the game.
Um,
Maybe.
well, obviously one of the marquee games. Well, the marquee game of the round. Two
Top of the
teams
table clash.
at the top there behind Portmore. Um, Defense versus attack. I mean, 2 tactical, astute coaches. The younger team in Harborview against well, a more mixed bunch. There is not really an old team, but average age probably in the mid 20s. Harborview, I think closer to 29, low 20s, 19. So should be an interesting one. Think is a draw. Think the game going draw, but we should see a lot of. It's a good coaching. It's a good coaching exercise. I think those who analyze the game from a
We'll
coaching
enjoy
perspective
we'll enjoy this game.
should see should see some gymnastics from the different coaches as it relates to. I mean, everybody knows what Duki brings to the table. We came last week saying that the dynamic was a bit different, as was suggested. He never went all out change, but the team looked a bit more positive. And as I said, it was a derby game. If you notice, even the interchanges, although the red card was in the game, you recognize that.
Two red cards.
Yeah, but well, the second, I don't even call the last red card a red card because it was, no malicious, nothing from the player really. It's just some, administrative stuff. But the tempo of it, the attitude of the players, I just think that what concerned me now, management well, the only good thing is that there is no relegation. But Umberland just look too old.
Yeah.
I think I mean, and it really showing. I mean, them just too old. They can play for probably half an hour, but they're just too old.
Well, the president, Mr. Henry, said that he's not happy with what is going on. So somebody, either the players are going to go or the coach is going to be.
Yeah, man, them have to, as I said before, again, we spoke last week about environment. It even though they're coming out and saying they're not happy, the context of this is that it is not a relegation league. It is a truncated season. What are the objectives of the different clubs? Is it that they are just going through the motion? Is it that some of them, and this is why I asked Mr. Speed about CONCACAF, because to me, there is still some uncertainty around that. I don't think we're getting the full details of that because some people are saying it's there, some people are saying it's not there. For me, if CONCACAF is not there, then it takes away the motivation in terms of teams who are really pushing to win per se. I think the good opportunity with this is that the television and the full broadcast now gives you the opportunity to showcase players that are likely to do well and get returns for you in the overseas market, which is what needs to be capitalized on. But I'm looking at a draw, Mannings, man, in the Veer Abergroup game.
Yeah. Well, I
Yeah,
don't know if
I
you're
don't think
listening to Mr. Speed because that is the same thing he predicted. But I think this game is going to end 1-0. I think somebody, when these games are highly tactically arranged by the coaches, it takes one mistake for somebody to get. And
it's
anybody
not
scores,
impossible.
I feel like somebody's going to score and play low block for the rest of the game.
No, but Fryer said that Javier because
Well, well, who
Lodi not play them
who
thing there, no. Lodi
who
not play a
know
low block, you know.
who may attack. I
but
go
but
score
but
that low block.
but you're onto something. You're onto something. But what I think would really be interesting is if we do get that goal with some time to go in the game, it should be something to be. I know Harborview not going to roll over and just play ordinary or try normal things. He's a very inventive coach. And sometimes out of the box with the tactics. So it's important that it's a good. I expect it to be a good tactical game. Not going to be fulfilled with goals, but I think it's going to be a good tactical game.
Make sure you watch that game, people. Mr. Speed, I'm going to let you take this question if you can, and then I'll let Mr. Yeah. Oh, sorry. Yeah, let me add you. There you go. Let you take this question on screen.
Right.
Yeah.
So, what?
And then hold on. Then Mr. Price, you can chime in because you're part of Mount Pleasant, so you can talk about how the academy things flow based on this comment. Go ahead, Mr. Speed.
Right. So we didn't think it was. I mean, the Premier League club development start at essentially 17, where it's compulsory, 17 and 20. So club like our club plays in under 13, under 10, under 13, under 15 in Kasafa, but it's not an academy. It's like a club structure. So what we're putting in place now is a start, is not the end. But we couldn't just put on all the clubs and say you must have all of these clubs right away. What we want is we start somewhere and we develop and get better and better and better and better. It's a democracy, not a plantocracy. So I don't have any issue with starting at a lower point and we move on. Eventually, like we say, we have to have a C license to coach Premier League now. In a couple of years, it will be a B. In a further couple of years, it will be a A. So it's the same process with the academies. It's not compulsory yet, but by maybe next year, it starts to compulsory at the D level, then at the C level, then at the B, you have to have that type of movement come all the way up. So that's how we're working it, Cataract. Not the just throw it down on the people and say you have to start with this right now. So that's the difference we have in here. It's not that we don't agree with what you say. It's just how we get there.
Yeah, and anything you want to add, Mr. Price?
Just to say that an academy system in whichever form comes with a massive outlay of resources, which will need to be available for the success of it. There's no going around that. And I think that may be the prohibitive factor. I mean, to have an under 17 team, is in and of itself, manageable. But to have an academy program, because remember, the development is not just game development. It speaks to a holistic approach where nutrition, off the field, the education, the having the right equipment to physically develop them on a consistent basis, housing where necessary. So all of these things will have to come into play with whatever academy thing that is to be established. I have not seen the document, so I don't know to what extent it is requiring the clubs to be mobilized. But and I don't know as well if from the PFJ there is a funding component towards these teams to establish these academies. But as I said before, the concepts are great, but without the funding. For example, as Mr. Speed have a model at Cavalier where youngsters come through the program. He gets to the Premier League. It's a good vehicle now for them to develop at one and be seen too. But I'm sure that if Mr. Speed had the necessary resources, he probably would have a housing like a dormitory sort of situation. But it's expensive. It's very cost intensive, and as I said before, that resource will have to be there to provide for. I remember when they were doing the under-21 league, when they never have anything getting from it, but then clubs would have to stand the cost just to transport these under-21, not even the housing, just to make sure them reach the games to play. And it became a burden on the clubs because just a resource to pay a bus fare, to bus 18 or 20 players to a game. So I don't know what in that framework caters to financing,
Yes.
but maybe wait and see.
But go ahead, Mr. Speed. Go ahead.
Well, there's look here. When a club in Jamaica sell a player for 2 million US, they don't give the JFF or the CASAFA any money. So if you decide that you're going to start academies, your private initiative. The mistake that a lot of people is making is to believe that the academy is not there to make money. The academy is a part of the professional club framework for people to transition to the professional club, so you don't have to pay for players like what we kind of do. So depending on your model, but it's a part of your financial, or is a financial part of your club financial framework. So if you can't manage it, you're out, you stay out, and if you can manage it, you're in. But there is no funding for the academies. Is a more regulatory. Just like when you have a business outside, the government don't fund your business; they regulate it so it works properly, but they don't fund it. So there's no funding here. It's for the clubs to have a standard and perform and try to get the football to be at a certain level.
Which is why I'm saying, so how practical is that in the context of our local football structure?
Well, if you look at, when we did a check,
regulatory, where it becomes mandatory, because that's why I say, to what extent are they expected to operate an academy? I really that more know, because I say if it is that you're saying have an under 17 and have an under 20 team, well, that's clear, that's fine. But I'm saying if it all extend beyond that, where you have the coaching development, you have to have a staff where deal with academy, you look at periodic periods where them in the academy, because when you do the FIFA academy thing, it asks you, when you do this whole registration for your academy and FIFA, you have to give the whole staff for the academy separately, the housing situation for the staff, every little intricate detail that would obtain at a professional academy is required as part of the registration when you have the FIFA.
But all academies don't give housing. When you go to places like Brazil, the kids come in Friday evening and go back Sunday. Then stay at their parents' home and go to normal school. So it's not every single country.
Yeah, but even Friday evening to Saturday, a housing. That I point to me I'm making.
I'm saying that is what some academy does. Some academy don't. Right. You don't. Well, or not, some academy you don't house none at all. You come to training 3 times a week and go back to your house. So there's a whole heap of different models to operate our academy, and you choose the one that fits your best. We don't operate our academy like what Mount Pleasant does. But on the field, aren't we competitive with Mount Pleasant? So that is what you have to understand, that there's different models to run your academy. That is not what we judge you by. What we judge you by is how safe is your academy. That is very important. How many sessions you have per week. You run it over a certain period from January to August. The quality of your coaching, the quality of your medical records, the quality of how you make sure the kids go to school. Those are much more important than feeding them and housing them. So it's for us to choose what works for you. There is some compulsory requirement, but some of them is just add-ons. They are not compulsory.
Okay, what I'm getting, I don't know if I'm getting it, but what I'm getting from this is that the academy is what is your developmental program outside of your senior team.
Yes.
And
Yes.
if I can present to you a module to say, all right, I have 20 under 10, 20 under 13, 20 under 15, and I show you how often I prepare them, how I take care of them, even if it is not a living situation, but
All right.
there must be a certain amount of hours that they get weekly or daily in terms of their development.
Yes.
That is what I'm getting. So it may not include the full complementary staff and owning a bus or as long as you don't probably have to own your own academy fields, but you could have once you have a facility that you use.
Yes.
I think that is what you're saying, Mr. Speid. I just want to make sure.
No,
And
I'm very clear, and that is why we put them also in categories. So you could start at a D level and work your way up. So the first year, in other words, there's like 13 or 14 criteria, right? So you could start at a D level just passing 5 criteria and you start your academy and you work your way up. So as soon as you get more resources and more sponsorship and a better handling of how you handle your team, then you can work up yourself to C, then B, then A. And that is why it is structured like that. So there's not this onerous expenses on you first go. Be satisfied with what you have and build. What we are concerned with is improvements, not trying to stop people from joining the game.
yes, so, Mr. Price, you get that? It seems like you're still puzzled.
No, man. Remember what I was asking. Mr. Speid did that in his discourse a while ago. What I wanted to know is what were the terms of reference relating to these academies, because remember he said it was regulatory. So I wanted to know to what extent the clubs would need to be involved in an academy situation. So he just mentioned now that there are options, because obviously it still would have to come with some sort of standards, to minimum standards. But as you said, he just made that clear to say, well, X amount of hours, this, that, and so on. So once it is within that sort of framework where the flexibility exists based on what is available for the clubs to choose the model, then it may be something more workable. I was just saying, I did not know when they mention a regulated academy that is mandatory, to what extent that would need to be established, because I know that if it's the full gamut, so like Mr. Speid mentioned at A Academy, if it were that you are saying the club must have an A Academy, we know in a practical. So in the present situation, obviously the point is, as him say, is to build, so probably 10 years down the line, every professional team in Jamaica have an A Academy. So whatever it is, fine. But make it.
Yeah, man. All right. Somebody's asking Mr. Speid. I think the question, and this is Formula Sport, Blessings Formula, would Cavaliers feel more teenagers and at a younger age if it were not for the threat of relegation? I think
there's no threat now for 2 years, but we do have a lot of teenagers in our team, and then we have a development squad which comprises players as young as 13 and as old as 18. So we do have 2 squads. So whenever we need anybody, we just dip into that squad. So if we need a 14-year-old and he's ready to play, that's the person who's going to come up and play at any particular time. So it's not as straight cut as you just said, but we do have all of these players training and ready to fill the breach as soon as it is required.
Hey, you know what?
28 of them to be in fact.
Yeah, Fabulous Sport, you just asked a question that opened my eyes to what Mr. Price needed to find out from Mount Pleasant. So, because this is, Mr. Price, I don't know if this is it, because guess is what I'm picking up now. So when he asked about CONCACAF, because Mount Pleasant may be playing players at a certain age because they believe those players give them the best opportunity to qualify for CONCACAF, which is a long-term goal of theirs. If there's no qualification for CONCACAF, then the financial incentive for winning the league don't entice them. So what they would do instead is probably play their academy players. I don't know. I'm just wondering if that is the reasoning behind the
So
previous question.
that's why I'm saying. That's why I'm saying that. That is why I'm saying that you have to look at what the end product, what each
There you
club
go.
looks for at the end of the cloud in order to sort of determine what approach them take to it. And this is where we're really going with it because, as I said before, if there's nothing on it, you just win and you move on to next season.
You
Then
play.
Sorry.
there's nothing on it.
I just want to go back to Formula Sports. You see, 'cause I don't think I answer I'm totally correct. Formula,
Okay.
we have different category of players in different age group, and certain things is supposed to happen to those age groups. So there's a progression process. So as you know, the players that we had before, they progress out of the club as young as 18, 19. So we really try to play those age group players who are supposed to progress out of the club first, and then the rest of teenager will come in sometime later on. So you, in a way, um, is a no for your question because while we'll use more teenager, if we have those players that must progress first, we have to use most of those for the exposure so they can leave and go overseas. Then we're bringing the younger players.
Okay. All right. So, Mr. Speed, Mr. Price, you're finished in terms of your. So, Mr. Speed, I hope you understand what Mr. Price was saying. In other words, what he's saying is that we need at Mount Pleasant need clarity on whether or not when we win we're going into CONCACAF. Because if that is not the case, it doesn't benefit us to play some of the players we're playing. We would rather use our academy players because there's no incentive at the end. Because the only incentive that makes sense for us is qualifying for CONCACAF. And if that is not there, then we would have used all of the academy players. This is my interpretation.
Yes, understand. But guess what? No? We want to go
That's a
CONCACAF.
management speaking. You hear management speaking.
But we want to go CONCACAF too, but that don't mean we don't use young players. Because the funny thing about going to CONCACAF, why would I want to go with old players? Nobody going to buy them. So I want to go with young players. So we have the same ambition, but we want to go there with young players. Because we think it will help us more if we go there with young players.
Yeah. All right. This is
Well, as Mr. Speed, you mentioned, but I just think it wants some more clarity because it still not sound like it conclusive. Because one of the things we pick up in your response was that if there's a CONCACAF league, so probably we're not even sure if CONCACAF play in a league. So and this is my personal. I mean, as I said, I'm with the academy at the school, but this is a personal concern that I have. And I spoke to other persons in the league. Some say yes, some say no. And this is why this is really why I throw it out here because people who should be on the same page.
Sure that there will be a CONCACAF league. I'm 99% sure, but then nothing is certain. But I'm 99% sure.
So 99% still left one. But so
right, nothing is certain. And as a matter of fact, they're trying to look at a third team. I understand from Jamaica. So let's see where that goes.
Yeah, I think
not
Mr.
all academies in Canada host players,
Right.
only Toronto FC, Vancouver, and Montreal.
Yeah, Richie, he was responding to the original thing that Mr. Speed was saying.
Yeah, but you see, there's a Mr. Speed to maybe even be in a better position to speak to this than me. But the little that I know of the environment, especially in a North American setting, is that really and truly kids that go to these places are really paying for spaces, and not necessarily like how we treat football here. Most of what happens with coaching and youth in the setup in the North American context is a pay-to-play situation as opposed
you have to pay to.
So
well, most of them pay to go to the academies. Yeah.
You have thousands of youths who may be better than what you are seeing, who are in the North American system, but because they can't afford to pay to go get the coaching or whatever, them don't come through that avenue. There are other ways that they come through. So I'm saying we also have to reason it in that context because we believe, I mean, and for coaches out there who think it's so hard here, being a coach in the States, everything you get paid for, even if you coach some little boys, and then come is so much per hour, whatever, and so on. If you're in the formal system that they have there, it is really more informal that kids get the opportunity to play without having to pay.
Yeah.
Mr. Speed, you can correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah, it's a field system. The Americans understand that too now. But they're trying to correct it.
Right, because really and truly, we know that generally the more skillful, the better players come from a certain socio-economic sector. Them are the poorer people in terms of who really can play.
Well, I don't think it is that, you know. If I have a son who is a good footballer, why am I going to pay you for him to be in the academy? Like,
because that's our system.
No,
go away.
All right. No, I am telling you,
go away.
my kids are away, right? Right. So when I wanted to, it was the same thing, and I said, no, my little son was better than the whole of them. I said, when I tell you about $2,500, I say, I'm not paying that. Better me work with him because I'm very sure that I can do what they are doing, and my son is better than the rest of them. So I am saying, if I have a son who is better than all of those in the academy, why am I going to pay you for him to be there?
So why gonna be a pathway for him?
Well, the English have a system that they give the better one scholarship. So you have 2,000 people in the academies, and the better one gets scholarships, so they don't pay. I mean, that's a system.
But Speed, him have the youth in the North American system, and him say him a fight the system. So I am saying, what is going to be a pathway for the youth end up back in a same system?
I'm sending him go public school, make him play in a public school league, and then
right, and make him go college.
Yeah,
you can give a party there.
Make him go play NCAA and then come through the draft.
Yeah.
Because what they do sometimes is that they will come and see a kid and say, come to the, because even in the States, some kids don't pay, you know.
Right, that's what Mr. Speed saying.
Right, yeah. And some pay. It's not all of them.
That's what Mr. Speed saying.
Yeah.
But it's a good system, that one, because I have to use the kids who can't pay to fund the kids who can play. That's how life is.
Oh, right. You have to use the kids who, right. That makes sense. Sense. But there are certain academies like Mount Pleasant where that is not a factor.
No, they have too much.
Well,
yeah, you don't have to pay. Just
come. No.
Yeah. Listen, but we have gone 2 hours and 11 minutes too long. Mr. Speed have him game. Him a big game this weekend. He's at training.
No, I don't have any game this weekend.
Mr. Speed rest this weekend. Mr. Speed off.
Yes, I just wanted to say something here about the Premier League. So far, after 4 weeks, we have no positive case of the coronavirus of all players and coaches and management who have been tested. So we are way below the positivity rate for the nation. And I think it's something that we must say all the time so people can know that is happening.
Yeah, something very important, as you say, that is that I want to encourage the players. Listen, I'm not telling you, I'm not forcing you. Let me encourage you. You're a professional footballer. You would not want to be spotted by somebody, being taken overseas, and then you get tested, and then you hear that you have the virus, when if you had a vaccine. Because I know that one of the struggles that they say that they're having in the Premier League now is that less than 50% of the players have not opted to take the vaccine. All right. Sometimes you have to go beyond what is right and think about what is wise. What is the wisest thing to do? Like, given what is happening now, with the opportunities for contract, you don't want something like this to hinder you. So if you can, do it. Like, because you're not going to die. You understand me? I know people telling you that, boy, if you ever take this, you're not going to be able to produce any more children. Maybe you ought not to have any more than we have already, so you can save some money, me I tell you. But
Pastor, I want to the man when I have none. What kind of argument is you come with, Bonnet? So I want to the man when I have none.
That's why we talk to the one that we have already.
If you use that argument, none of Mr. Speed player now vaccinated, you know, because I don't think so much of them their father pay a little boy, you know. So the point is, well, as I say, for me, I have nothing to say on the vaccination. It's still a personal choice as from where we stand, and
Personal choice.
each person have to make the choice based on what they want as the outcome. Probably the league going to reach to a mandatory vaccination system. So as I say, as the situation progress, Mr. Speid made a good case in terms of the fact that it was always purported that football would not be able to manage, and as such would have end up in this big mass infection and so on. So what Mr. Speid is showing is that whether vaccinated or not, there is some management that is taking place that has allowed the league to be COVID-19 free after 4 rounds of football. And what we should say is that we ask the authorities to keep up the good work and the players to remain responsible. Players and officials and all of those people around the league to remain responsible, because really and truly, the danger is not while them playing or while them competing, is when them outside of the custody of the management and staff, what happens in those personal moments. So as Mr. Speid, we want to commend the organizers for, sticking to it and for not, reaching into that infection rate, and for giving us something to see. I mean, strangely enough, a lot of people would have said the league shouldn't play, but I think it's really a refreshing addition to little July, August. And we're actually looking forward to football every weekend. And man have me here because he knows I am a local football protagonist.
Local football. Yep.
Yeah, and I think it's not spoken about enough. So I am happy that we at least have something. And it look good on TV. It really looks good. The product, it look good. And I may speak objectively. My team don't look so good right now, but it look good. The overall thing look good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Devon Porter was saying that what is the role of our academy, and he's correct. Is really, but it's not the academy alone is responsible for this, but the academy goes a far way in help shaping some people's life. So it's true to become a professional player. And when you go to the academy, just like when you go to school, you need to learn something coming from it. So I think the academy is an important addition to what we are doing so far, and it will just enhance our product. And as I said before, every year we try to make sure that the academies improve till we reach a level that we're comfortable that they will be producing national players, both for exporting players and also for the sustenance of our league, because once we start to build this league, we need talent. So you need talent to build the league, to make it people want to watch it, etc., etc. And so it's just another journey we're taking, and I think it will bear fruit in the future.
Yeah. All right, so I'm going to take this one. Ryan, I think all of us agree on this, that this should not be enforced in terms of the vaccine. I don't think that the government should enforce it. But like I said, like Mr. Price just said, it's a personal responsibility. I don't object to a person deciding to take it, and I don't object to a person not deciding to take it. What I don't encourage is for us to, without factual data and information, pick up any one side of the argument. But
well, management, management, I must tell you that, my players, a lot of them are always people asking about them to go overseas. And them literally I tell you, say, are they vaccinated? Them ask you. So you have to look at your own personal and decide what is good for you and what is bad. I mean, in some cases, if you know that you have to be, in the room or walking with other people that you might infect them. Because some cases, if you have your grandmother you go home to every day, and you have to say, boy, I love my grandmother, maybe I should carry her go get vaccinated if she want to, or maybe me should I get vaccinated. So it's everybody individual circumstances, what is better for you and your family, then you make the decisions. And sometimes you make the decision to do it, it's not because you necessarily want to do it, but when you look at the people you love around you, you say, you know what, let me do it, or you just decide to now do it if you're sure so you can control yourself. So I agree, it's an individual choice.
Individual choice, yeah, man. So let me just say this. No, yeah, man, we're going to take it. But let me say this. Next week, right, we're going to get a player in the league who the player may not be Jamaican. So we're going to talk to him next week. That's part of what we want to do next week's show. So stay tuned for that. This is Unseen Sport, and he has a question, and I think Mr. Price is the best person to answer this question. And then we're going to close out because Mr. Speid has been with us for a while. Mr. Price came on late, but go ahead, Mr. Price, and take this question, and then we can close off. Give Mr. Speid.
All right, I think by football schoolboy league, I mean ISA competition, because Mount Pleasant are the GISA champions. So Mount Pleasant did win the private school football competition. Mount Pleasant is presently not an ISA member, and as such does not participate in ISA competitions. There was a process in train to get that done. As I said, we have been looking at the way forward in terms of how we want to go forward as a organization. But whenever ISA membership is granted, and according to the statutes of ISA, the club, the school satisfies the requirements in terms of the waiting periods and so on, then you would see the school in the competition. As I said before, the decision whether or not to pursue it lies with the board and the principal director based on the new direction, or if they're sticking to one direction. But the simple answer is that the school is not an ISA member right now.
Okay. Here you go.
And the ISA members probably don't want in there either.
As I said, may I work with a simple answer, you know. I work with a simple answer.
But I don't think academies should play in schoolboy football. I think they should play with other academies, and maybe there should be an academy league.
But is a school.
That's what we're aiming for. That's what we're aiming for, to have an academy.
I know no other academy to play with.
Of course, you have others.
What about Cavalier? You're right. You want a challenge now? I carry on at 13, 15, 17, 20, 21. Come down to Mount Pleasant right now if you want a game.
Mr. Speid, we not been there already. No man, what may I say? We've been there already. But the funny thing is that me and Mr. Speid normally are meeting at them competition, yeah, and foreign style. we always play each other overseas. But the point is, as I said before, it's a school, it's a high school, and we are go by the Ministry of Education curriculum, so on and so forth.
Is it an academy that provides schooling, or a school that provides football?
I think that is the problem. I think that is the distinction.
Right. So it is a school that is fully governed under the auspices of the Ministry of Education, and as such uses the curriculum and follows. So the same education officer inspection, all of the protocols that need to be observed by regular schools we have to do. And as such, we are a high school that are the classification in the context of the education system in Jamaica. The only thing now is that we tailor our curriculum in terms of the additional, so the extracurricular that would come in the normal high school, we basically bring that to a different level in terms of what we offer. And as such, it is termed an academy. But probably if strictly speaking, and Mr. Speid can back me up on this, if you look at the model right now, probably it's more a school than an academy.
Which is the problem I have. Let me just say this. This is Unseen Sport is a coach at Charlie Mount, right? So maybe you need to play him in a practice match so he can get to see. That's
he can touch base with the director.
Yeah,
David, I think
there's a difference though, but go ahead.
There's a difference because while you have the independent high schools that GISA, which is a competition that you play in, remember GISA setup is different. Their schooling is different.
Mount Pleasant.
No, not it's from Mount Pleasant, but also different from what is controlled by the ministry. Remember, the ministry now dictate to you how they want them school to have X amount of minimum amount of maths class for this time and English for this time and that subject for you understand? While in a Mount Pleasant case, I'm sure they decide what they want to do.
We do all of them same way, but it's just that we set the timetable to facilitate the football program. We do all of them the same way.
Oh.
So
To
here's
the
my
T
thing.
what ministry want.
What
Everything.
what I think needs to happen, and maybe this was it. I don't know what the vision is because I'm not a part of the Mount Pleasant system, but I want to run an academy, but still educate my ballers. But it is an academy. I will use the curriculum of the Ministry of Education, but it's a football academy I'm running. I'm not running a school, but I provide schooling. And I think I am saying I can take the curriculum and do it, but I'm not running a school. I'm running an academy because at 16, if Real Madrid come for one of my players, they don't have to finish school.
Right. I'm
Well,
selling.
we are hybrid. We are hybrid because if at 18, nobody come for one of players, them have to survive after education. So we are on hybrid. And remember,
Yeah.
again, Mr. Speed will tell you this, and you know the probability of getting one of youngsters out of your academy and a professional contract from Jamaica, well, worldwide, but let's speak in our context, probably is 1 out of 1,000.
Yeah, but not when you're running an academy. That have
No,
somebody.
man, no matter where you run.
No.
No matter where you run. You know.
Listen, I am going to judge Mount Pleasant differently.
No, but I am saying, even if you judge, you judge Mount Pleasant differently, see Rudolph here, him can back me up. I am saying.
No, he now go back up because he my players are
no,
you.
hold on. Remember, no, hold on. If you have 1,000 players in Jamaica, Mount Pleasant only have 100. So the point I'm driving at is, let us say that out of the 100, and this is not the case, but let us say out of the 100, hypothetically speaking, Mount Pleasant have 40 of the best youngsters in our country out of the 100 that we have. Now you have to look at these 40 against the whole world who competing for the same football markets. I mean, I tell you, so the probability is still 1 out of 1,000 if we go through. So you must equip them to do something else.
All right. So let me say this. So, no, follow me, right? All right. So if a player is going to be taken out of a high school to go in an academy, and then you're going to know, give him the same education he was getting in the high school, then do you trust his talent enough? That is the question we have to ask.
No. But what you are missing,
yeah,
or you should have kind that in the context of Mount Pleasant. What we are doing is upgrading your high school experience, because what we are saying is that educational wise, you would not miss anything, and now we are giving you a full football development. So may I say to you, it's not a -1 to get the other. The based on the prospectus that was done, based on the design from the principal director, the group there, the curriculum has been so designed and the timetables and so on,
I think you're missing the point.
Kids are able to achieve all them would have get in a normal high school plus an academy development in a football. That's why the Saturday and Sunday down there,
That's why we're going to pick up this next week, because here's why I know. That is why, based on the model you're using, it takes a millionaire to do your model, while Mr. Speid can get the same thing, not using so much, because all I'm saying is that the school are already providing education. So if I see a talent that is good, I don't have to take him out of school to give him schooling, and I can still provide all the development that you're providing. So why am I taking? Why am I taking? All I'm saying to you is that what is Mount Pleasant? What does Mount Pleasant offer different from Cavaliers?
What Mount Pleasant offer different from Cavaliers?
Yeah, to a 13-year-old.
To a 13-year-old?
Yeah.
3 meal a day, housing, take all expense paid for your schooling and education, plus your full development right through the school term. The parents have no financial obligation whatsoever.
But who say he's going to end up better, David?
No. Hold on, Mr. Speid. The question is, what does Mount Pleasant offer different from Cavalier?
So
and I'm saying to you, if you have a youngster, we can offer you a 5-year high school scholarship All this youngster does is come to school with one shoes, and nothing else but one school shoes. Everything else is provided from education to food to football.
I have the
The
perfect.
parent has
I have the
no expense
perfect
whatsoever.
response.
That's what we offer.
So
And
here's
that's
the
what we offer.
perfect. So here's the thing, though. So I am saying to you, I am going to start an academy. There's a
Yeah.
parent who decide that everything that Mount Pleasant offer, I can offer my child, and all
So the
I need.
parent has,
No,
so
no,
the
follow me now,
parent has
man.
the choice to do that.
No, follow me now. And I say,
Mm.
this guy have talent. I
Yeah.
can focus on him. All I'm saying to you is that both of us are going to get to the same objective with the player when you are spending money that you never needed to spend.
No, because what we add to that package, and now Mr. Speed will be take Mr. Speed Harborview and Portmore, nobody else. What you will understand now is that every player who come through the system is exposed, and we know COVID is a different situation, but all of the players under normal circumstances are also exposed to at least 2 overseas tournaments per year. So what we are saying is the development goes just beyond sitting down in the country, you do your schoolwork and you carry a man go drop off. The development, the same psycho development in terms of the psychological aspect, we develop the physiology in terms of they are on a program of physical development where you can have them and track them in terms of making them stronger, building them their body mass, whatever the case may be. The schooling is there in terms of the regular school curriculum. Them get exposure to overseas tournaments. So as me say, and this is an advantage Mr. Speaker can tell about. When these players go in our national setup now and take a plane and go foreign, is nothing to face them than for a man who at the first time he might take a plane, first time I go overseas, before he start think about to play, all of that get to him before him start to perform. These are some of the advantages that you get. I am saying in the context of as the man who in charge of recruiting, and this is what I always say to a parent, I am saying that, listen, under normal circumstances, you have to look at all the expenses surrounding sending your youth to school. The opportunity that this provides is that you're guaranteed him schooling, you're guaranteed him football development, and you're guaranteed that you have no expense to pay for this 5-year scholarship. Now, hold on. Why is it that only 100? Hold on, Speed. The thing is now, everybody now go take it up. Everybody now go take it up, And this is why I'm saying those who see this opportunity as something where them can benefit from, take up it.
All right.
And that's the whole point.
All right, go ahead.
You know one of the funny things, as me close, one of the funny things, Mr. Speed, is that when we just started out with recruiting, we used to go off a certain type of player, a certain profile, meaning that more players like what Speed have, meaning them established and you go, and people are reluctant. One of the reasons is because of the traditionalism in terms of school culture and them got this school and so on. Yeah. Right? And then, incidentally, after we would have gone in, we got some kids, we start the program, whatever. Some of these same players and parents that we would have gone to and say X, and they didn't want to come, them start to run to us and say, come, we want to come now, take us so on and so forth and so on. So the point is, for me, you're in a Kingston and you're with Mr. Cavalier, with Mr. Speed, you're in a good thing. If you come Mount Pleasant and carry your youth come Mount Pleasant for 5 years, you have nothing to lose. Nothing. I'm saying you have to look now. Well, I know. So you have to look now at what your situation is, how you think this benefits you, and then participate accordingly based on what you're. So just like how you say, if you feel like you can do it that way, then you don't need to have him there. It's fine. Mr. Gulanko has decided to invest in the youth them in a way where he might deal with them holistically as opposed to them just come in and go out. So I am saying, who want the bite off a cherry, come take the bite off a cherry. That's all I'm saying.
Alright,
space
cherry
is
too small,
limited. So
brother.
when you say everybody can't
Cherry
come,
too,
some of
cherry
you stay
too
with
small.
speed.
Cherry can't bite. Cherry
Some
can't
of you
bite
stay
and
with
share.
speed. Some of you stay at the traditional school.
But
But
I have
space
some
is
tough
limited.
questions for you.
Can take yours.
Right.
Eh?
I don't want.
Hold on.
Look here.
Hold on,
There's a
hold on, Mr.
space for
Speed.
everyone.
Hold on,
Yeah, go
Mr.
ahead.
Speed. I have some tough questions here, but because we're up on time, I'm going to
Yeah,
challenge you
quick.
next week on some of this. But Mr. Speed,
Okay.
you take the closing. But next week, go and pick up this. But Mr. Speed, you go ahead.
You give me a tough question, man.
No, man, I was saying I have some tough question about the
Oh
same what
no, no.
Mr. Speed
I
was
was
just saying.
just going to say there's space for everyone, and there's different methodology to do with everything. I mean, I don't know if Mount Pleasant would be brave enough to play a 15-year-old in their Premier League team. I've played two now. Ryan Miller was one from years back. Yeah,
He left to he leaves to the coaching setup at the senior level. You don't know that too.
Right. No, right. But I'm saying, so we have different aim. We want to get to the same place, but we're on different roads. I just believe that it takes a village to grow a kid. I don't want to grow him by myself, and that is why I welcome putting them in school, because based on what David said, it's very. Some players will never ever become a professional baller, but I could have probably removed a doctor or a lawyer from having in this high school that is a specialist school, trying to make him.
But which one of them school? Which one of them school? Because Mount Pleasant, one of the only school where have youth at 8th grade pass 5 CXC subject once. So may I say which one of them school they are specialist doctor school? We have youth from Monroe, we have youth from JC, we have youth with 90% average. So may I say if we have youth who have 15 with 5 CXC.
I'm not saying anything wrong with Mount Pleasant. No, I'm not saying anything, Mr. Price. I'm not saying anything wrong with Mount Pleasant. I just say I believe that people learn better from different experiences. I cannot grow a kid like how a mother can grow a kid. So I prefer the mother and father take care of them for 5 days and give me them for 3 days or 4 days. That's my preference.
Yeah,
so
I remember say you are speak strictly football. We are talk holistic. We are help develop everything.
So
you are dealing with the football side and you give them back to them parents to deal with the school side.
Right. So that's my model.
And
so
as you say now, as you say, it not make it, you have a model. Remember me just coming up. So you have a proven model. We're successful for you and you work with it. We come with a new model in the country where we think we are improve the lives of many Jamaicans. So we are working with it.
Of course you are.
No, I think Mr. Price, you get it wrong.
It wrong.
What you're doing, is very good. So the argument.
No, you don't need to tell me that. Me know. No, me know that. You don't need to convince me of that.
So
that me know.
That right. So we're not trying to say that doing a good thing.
No, but I wanted. Me glad Mr. Speed raised the issue because some people still may believe. I mean, I take this by what Mr. Speed said. Me just generally I say may believe that the level of teaching and so in terms of the school part now is substandard. No, may I tell you say and some
people
don't know this
because I know the results, so I know that you guys do
yes,
very
man.
well. Yeah,
8th grade, 5 CXC subject once.
But all I'm saying is that you must be within that context, and I think even for Mr. Speed, even for me, within that context, and I'll say, look at a Usain Bolt, right? I'm going to give you a good example of a track athlete called Christopher Taylor. I think Christopher Taylor, if he were taken out like a Brianna Williams, who went into professional setting from very early, where her career is at, I think sometimes what happen, and this is 1 in a million, but we must be able to.
But Brianna career not that much far from Chris one right now.
No, so follow me now. All I'm saying is that you see that one.
Really and truly, results wise.
No man, what I'm saying is that you see that 1 in a million person when we spot them. And I can speak to my life because I had to go to university basically 2 times to do 2 different degrees because I end up doing something that me never did want to do. And sometimes a child end up getting something that they can use in life, but the thing that they would have maximized their potential in, they never get to do it. And sometimes that is a sport.
But at the end of the day, but at the end of the day, the decision for your child rests with you, the parent, and our right that we can remove. So whether or not we want to stand from here and say what direction a man child should take, the man have to take the direction with him child. No, Formula, we are Cavalier now, no rivalry really, you know. And I want to tell you, we have a very good, robust relationship. No man, on a real note. But
No, we know that.
if there even is a rivalry, it would have to be friendly. I don't know.
A friendly rivalry Formula talk about, but about the football rivalry.
Well, as we say, them our bogey team thus far. Them our bogey team thus far. So the point may I make is that it's really touch and go when you look at athletes to determine what development part them should take. Mr. Bolt is a phenomenon. We now go find 17 bolter every year you get a Bolt. So Bolt is Bolt and ended up or end up. I was at Traffic Academy in Brazil, and when them reach 18, they have to leave. After them reach 18, they move on. The point is, they allow them to get other skills, because what they are saying is that if at 18 we are not able to secure a professional contract for you, then you have to go assimilate into the regular world. What are you going to have in order to do that? So because we know the realities of football, and that is why I'm saying the advance, and it is a good thing as well with the dynamics of a Kingston situation, because everybody kind of near, and then if Mr. Speid bring up some people from the country, he might have a little small accommodation. But the point I'm driving at is that if you find a way within your settings to sort of impact some footballers and have a good program, whilst not having to take on the challenges of dealing with them other aspects, that's fine. But it is critical that we understand, say, every footballer coming through the ranks now must, they must bright have university degree, and that mean they must be equipped with some skill that them can use if football no work out. Remember saying, sometimes I no skill, your skill, sometimes you get a career ending injury, sometimes you have something that physically are going to prevent you from play football for the rest of your life, no matter how good you are.
True.
So the point is, what then do you do at that stage? I am not asking them to become a doctor. We are not saying you must pass
just
by
get something educational.
Right. That's why them do agriculture down there. That's why them do woodwork down there. That's why them do food and nutrition. So the point is, once you reach to that age where you have to separate from us, you are useful to society. We have two youth right now where them do electrical installation, construction site for high level housing, and out of Mount Pleasant then come. And remember, the oldest boy down at Mount Pleasant not reach 18 yet. So the point I'm driving at is, yes. So when we get that is the fact that let us not fool ourselves when we are looking on football to believe that when you have 300 footballers in Jamaica, even 10 of them are go out.
Here's what
the reality.
That is true. Here's what I want to do. I hope you have some time in the week before we get to the Friday show, because one day this week I'd love to come on and talk about just the whole academy thing and how it works. And I'd love, because Formula Sport is one of the other bloggers.
Next week, after this week, we're kind of more flexible with time. So
so we'd love for you to come in outside of the Premier League show, just a show that is dedicated to dealing with like unseen sports.
Because we have got the Premier League show today with the academy.
we got past the whole thing. So we want to do that. Just focus on academy. I know Devon Porter is over, and at Formula, I'd love you to come on so you can, bring up some of these things with David Price, because I know him very well. I know what they do in Mount Pleasant, but I have to ask the question because some people outside don't know. So when I ask, them can bring out some of these things. Yes. And I'd love to do that. So, like Unseen Sport TV who want to do an academy, you can hear from him as to some of the things that they are doing. And so we'll do that this week. But again, Mr. Price, thank you so much for your time. Mr. Speid, who had training today and still, thank you so much for your time, sir. Always welcome. Listen, I apologize to all the persons in the comment section because Mr. Ludlow Bernard is not here. I'm going to make it up to you. I'm going to put some things in place next week to make sure we have that. But we're going to have one of the players next week who is not a Jamaican but plays in the league. We're going to talk to him for a little while to hear what it is like, because he has played in a couple countries. He played in his own country, he played in an ex-Caribbean country, and now he's playing in Jamaica, to see, just what the difference is in terms of the league or in terms of quality and style of play. So we're going to have that. But for all of you, I know you want to hear more from Mr. Price. I'm going to talk to him and see what day, what evening he has some time. And then in next week, you say next week or after next week?
No, man, once we clear this week, we just talk to
right.
me.
Yeah, man, next week, right? We can set up some time and we just talk about the academy thing and stuff. So again, thank you so much. Remember to like the video before you leave. If you have not yet subscribed, please subscribe to the channel. Appreciate it. Much love. Be safe. Listen, watch the games this week. Make sure you watch in particular that Veer Harborview game. If you're a football coach, watch the game from a coach perspective, not a spectator. Get your notebook, get your stats sheet and do those things. That's why I watch the football. Watch the Jamaica game. We are going to beat the USA. All right? It's going to happen. I believe it, and I cannot select any other team except Jamaica. When Jamaica play,
find a way, man.
Tapper is going to find a way. All right?
Yeah, man. Tapper go find a way, may I tell you.
My confidence is this. I believe that Leon Bailey is going to come good. Like, I feel like it is about time.
It no matter who come good, Tapper go find a way.
Yeah.
The team will win. The team will do well.
Yeah, man. All right. But thanks again, everyone. Thanks for the time. Mr. Speid, enough big up. Mr. Price, enough big up. I know you're on the road and you came and you made the time. Thanks to all the persons in the comment section. Those of you who were silent, much respect. All the best. All the best.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, man. All the best, Mr. Price. All the best, everyone.
All right,
Stay safe.
All right, Speedy.